Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year two pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio, ESPN 690.
What is happening here on a Monday? Hope you had an awesome weekend, everybody. What a sports weekend. That's the way we're going to roll into a Monday. We don't do this very often. Everything's so analytical in today's day and age of sports because everybody sees everything. I don't know if everybody could have seen everything today. Last night on TV, on Action Sports Shack's Primetime, we showed like 10 amazing things, I think, that happened in sports. I asked some folks today during Hayden Hurst's golf tournament over at Deer Creek. Beautiful day, good cause, everything. It's like, hey, do you see this? And some saw some of it and some of the plays, but not all the plays. I mean, what a sports weekend it was. If you like sports in any degree, and even if you don't, I have my mom calling me and being like, did you see the buzzer beater there? It's like, yeah, she's trying to explain like it was from like the other side of the foul line or, all this different stuff. It was that kind of weekend. I thought it was a really cool sports weekend. And that comes on the heels now. We're 2 weeks removed from the Super Bowl, and everybody kind of in our culture and society now in the sports world and here in Jacksonville too, because we're so heavy football, so heavy Jags. College football, high school football jumps in too. But, man, it's been an awesome couple of weeks around here from high school winter sports wrapping up and championship play to the transition to the spring stuff. Tonight we have ASUN tournament with UNF in it. Oh, we had Daytona 500 just down the road. We got the Bananas in town this coming weekend. The Icemen had 12,000 on hand on Saturday night, and they keep winning.
Can we start with that?
Sure.
So, I don't know who's
there?
Nope, I don't know. I was at Monster Jam, and I don't know whose idea it was for the Icemen to have their biggest crowd in like forever. Shout out to them, congratulations.
Yeah.
And to have the Monster Jam, and to have a music festival, I think is what I saw, downtown all at the same time. It took me like 40 minutes to get anywhere, and we had to park like 18 miles away from the Monster Jam. Can we please space the stuff out? Congrats to the Icemen.
The sports complex, that's right.
Not enough.
Sports complex.
Not enough parking, though.
Yeah, because, you're trying to think like, all right, you put during a big game, you put, 70,000 plus and parking, all over the place. Well, for Monster Jam, there's about 60,000 in there. And then you add the 12, and then you add downtown, whatever might be going on. And then you add, I don't know, was there a concert at Daly's Place or something like that? I don't even know.
I just saw a tweet that said it. But here's another problem with the Monster Jam. They're using the Monster Jam trucks, obviously. So, like, all of Lot J is Monster Jam. So there's no parking.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, I heard the parking was interesting downtown.
It was tough now.
But isn't I don't know if we appreciate it sometimes. Like, again, we're talking locally, all that stuff going on. You went from the Jags' great run to, again, I mentioned high school sports because we cover it. We live in that world. I think it's, all the winter sports wrapping up and the transition to the UNFs and JUs and EWUs, the college sports, and then Icemen. And then big events like Savannah Bananas coming to town this weekend and the Monster Jam. And then we got the players like we're rolling right into. I mean, it's just a great sports time if you like it. I mean, it's not for everybody, but if you can't find something for you, then you don't like sports. I guess that's the moral of the story. And you sure as hell ain't listening to us right now.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm not talking to you because you're not listening to us. I know it. If you couldn't find something over these last few weeks that grabbed your attention outside of the sport of football, and if you want football, even the XFL has some interesting things going on with some of their rule changes, and I think that's done okay. I don't think it's unbelievable, but I think it's at least maybe captured an appetite for some people trying to peek in on it. And then baseball, right? We've got baseball starting up and the rule changes in baseball and the pitch clock stuff that happened. I mean, I just think what a great weekend it was. You see all the buzzer beaters? Do you see all the crazy stuff happening?
I feel like not all of them. Like I obviously saw Matthew Cleveland, which was dope.
Yeah, which was right after, by the way, the Hurricanes player got left open for the most wide open shot ever.
Mans was open.
So the final 8 seconds was incredible.
Yeah, I did see that. I saw the Iowa women's game. That was
Caitlin Clark
was incredible.
She's really good.
She is.
I mean, listen, I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know. I don't watch women's college basketball every night. But if you haven't noticed Caitlin Clark, I mean, you can watch it on the periphery and notice she's really, really good. Like, I'm trying to think of a player.
She reminds me of Sabrina. I never know how to say her
Yes,
last name.
from Oregon.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with her was
she played late at night.
Yeah, it was late at night, right? Mm-hmm. But she was a star, and they did a good job of making her a star. You know what? Caitlin Clark has a little bit of feel like the last women's star before Sabrina there was that it's kind of like Diana Taurasi, with
Maya Moore.
There's probably a bunch of them I'm going to miss, right? Who ended up getting hurt? What happened to Beckers, right? Paige?
Oh, yeah.
She ended up getting hurt, right? Tore her ACL or something,
hurt, yeah.
But she's probably better than Caitlin Clark, really.
Probably.
Yeah, right? So, it's just something for everyone, but the buzzer beater was awesome there. Did you see the catch in the Houston game in college baseball over the fence?
Yes, I did.
Did you see the catch in the softball game I don't know how the girl did, seriously, and I'm not saying this lightly, how she doesn't have like a spinal cord injury or something like that is amazing.
Yeah.
She dove head first, like into the center field wall and caught it.
Crazy.
I don't ever want to see it again. Like, it was scary, but it was amazing at the same time.
Yeah.
And then if you stayed up to see Arizona State, 65-foot heave.
Yes.
To beat Arizona. That was a huge game.
Forgot about that, but yeah, I saw
Michigan on a buzzer beater forces overtime. They win. Go back to Iowa. They were down 13 with 1:34 to go. They scored 23 points in 1:34. How does that even happen?
It's insane.
You couldn't do that on a Nerf hoop.
Yeah. Not that this was a buzzer beater, but Indiana beat Purdue again. Purdue is reeling.
They've lost 4 out of 6 or something, I think.
I pay attention to them because IU and Purdue, but, I mean, IU beat them twice this year. And, Purdue, when things go bad. So, that's a team that a lot of people thought was legit. Turns out they're probably not. Indiana, are they legit? I would say no because I watch a lot of Indiana, but still they've got their number, which is intriguing.
It's awesome stuff. I mean, just really good stuff. I think the weekend started. It was Friday night. I think the whole pitch clock thing happened, right?
Was that Friday night?
Maybe it was Saturday.
No, it was Saturday. It was Saturday.
But, so now you have some.
The first pitch clock thing happened on Friday in the first game. The third pitch of spring training was the first one.
Oh, that's
Machado.
Right. That was Machado.
Yes.
And that happened over the weekend, too. He got signed to a big deal.
Yes. True.
Oh, by the way.
That was odd. That was I had that on our topic list one time because he said when he came into camp, I'm opting out. It's cool.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go. I was like, what are you doing? He knew what he was doing.
And
he's rich again.
I'll give you one more that we put in the show last night. And we don't, again, college baseball. Do we talk who everybody is? Well, the Gators have their version of Shohei Ohtani.
Bro, that kid is legit.
I mean, it's unbelievable.
The Gators are really good in baseball.
Yeah, and that shouldn't come as a surprise, but they hit 8 home runs. He hit 3, and he started the game throwing 97.
Yep.
From the left side, right?
Yeah.
Throws from the left side. Caglianone?
Mm-hmm.
Jack Caglianone?
Jack.
Is that how you say it?
Jack with the C. No K.
I mean, that's good stuff. If you're not, again, we get so football crazed. And, that happened too, which we're going to get into. Robertson-Harris, Foye Oluokun, JaMycal Hasty, off to the combine now. Doug got his Coach of the Year trophy and award.
Oh, that's right.
In Kansas City. The combine is here. That's happening. But, man, oh, man, it should just be fun to be around sports. Sports is incredible where it's come in our culture and how we view it and how much we live our lives through it. Part of it's us because that's what we do. But it's bigger than that. Way bigger than that. And it's not just us. I was saying this yesterday in the sports office. I think it's wild that as soon as a play gets made, like the Houston play and the kid, I guess it was like an LSU grad transfer or something, ends up playing at Houston baseball. And he flips over the fence and pops right back up and incredible catch. And they're like, during the call, that's a top 10 play on SportsCenter, right? Or sports, that's going to go on SportsCenter. It's that's right in your psyche is ESPN, SportsCenter, and just as much as you would say, the Jags are going to beat the Colts. You would say, all right, that's SportsCenter. Like, that's the first thing we think of. Mm-hmm. Like, think about it if you're trying to be like FS1 over the years, Fox Sports, trying to compete with SportsCenter, how hard it is.
Yeah, I get you.
Because for 25, 35 years now, they have just been in our minds. That's what a great job they've done with their brand and how much we kind of reference it now as well. I just thought it was an awesome sports week. I don't know if you got to see, and I wasn't even locked into all of it. See, that's the beauty of today. Is you don't have to lock in. You're going to find it all.
Yeah, Twitter helps a lot with
Twitter saves the day on that. But we can't also assume that everybody is looking at Twitter.
That's fair.
And finding the plays. And so there were other ones, too. I think it was New Mexico. Well, New Mexico State canceled their basketball team, so it wasn't them. So it was I think it was New Mexico that might have won on a buzzer beater. Oh, Trae Young won on a buzzer beater. Oh, I didn't mention the Tatum and Embiid back-to-back.
Damian Lillard.
Lillard had 71.
Yeah. That was good. I wasn't super locked in. I kind of moved around from thing to thing. I was interested in the MLS because that started this weekend. I was interested how Apple TV was going to do it. I was interested in Orlando City. But, I kind of went from thing to thing, check out the Gators baseball. Like I said, I went to the Monster Jam locally, caught the end of the Indiana game when I got home from Monster Jam. And, yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. I'll tell you what, I have not watched a minute of XFL. Am I missing out? I
haven't either. I've just seen some highlights, and I think I've seen some highlights, and I think some of the talking points are interesting. Even go all the way back to last week where the onside kick or the kickoff in general. Yeah. I think those are fascinating things that could potentially be a part of the fabric of the NFL at some point if they're effective and well received by the public.
My mom, in a similar scenario that you've had multiple times, my mom called me up about the XFL kickoff thing.
Really?
She's like, what are they doing? I'm like, I don't know, Mom. I haven't seen it. So then I went and looked at it, and I was like, I don't hate it. I mean, it's fine. But she couldn't figure out why it looked different. So
that's fun.
There you go.
My mom called about the pitch clock. She's like, what's going on? I was like, honestly, I haven't really watched it yet. But here's what's going on.
Yeah.
And we'll talk a little bit about it too, but it's kind of this love-hate of, do you like it? Because if you love baseball, it's weird. It's another weird thing. But is it going to work? Is it going to be effective? And we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll still have a show when we get a little closer to baseball season where we talk about all the rule changes, the pizza box bases, and everything else. As we get a little bit closer, we're still early going spring training, and then World Baseball Classic is around the corner in that regard. So, again, I thought it was worth heck, if you really – NASCAR I didn't think was that exciting. It was the last race in Fontana. Kyle Busch wins.
What was interesting is it was snowing the day before.
It was snowing in California. Busch actually
happening?
Is this new team after with Joe Gibbs racing forever, and he maybe should have won the Daytona 500. They threw the yellow as he was crossing the line, would have won the 500, and then goes and wins this race. And now he's won, I think, a race in 19 consecutive years, which is a record.
And I was looking for the sound from the Daytona. I heard it on the radio on the way home on Sirius, and I can't find the clip. I don't know why. But at the end of his press conference after he got wrecked and everything, he said, I can't wait to go to a real racetrack and start the season after Daytona. So people got mad, and sure enough, he wins.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
So everyone that was making fun of him, they're like, well, I can't really say anything now.
Yeah, and then you got golf. There were two really – I've never heard of Eric Cole in my life.
Me neither.
And he was in a playoff. And I follow golf. You haven't heard of him?
No.
And you really follow golf.
Yeah, it's a problem.
Fantasy and write about it. And it's good. What a great story that would have been. But actually, Chris Kirk ends up being a really good story. First time he's won 8 years. He battled sobriety and – I
don't know why my man's was going for a hole-in-one on 18 or 17.
Yeah, that was a wild way to do it, too. And then he made a money shot, So just great stuff, man. This is what we do for a living. This is why you love sports. And we're not even in March. This is when we usually talk about this stuff is coming up.
True.
When the tournament hits. And if we get half as good of stuff as what happened this weekend, just on the basketball court alone, then March Madness is going to be awesome.
Oh, it's going to be great. Don't pick the number one seed is not winning. None of the number ones are winning the tournament. I don't know who's winning, but it ain't a number one.
It's pretty wide open.
It's so wide open.
I was looking today, actually. I looked a lot at the bubble And I forget who, maybe it was ESPN or maybe it was Athletic. I don't know who did it. Somebody did Locked In.
There's very few that are locked.
Yes. And work, they said should be in and then work to do, I think is the thing that I was looking at. And I couldn't believe it because I watch Providence sometimes. We end up flipping it on, and when they're on, we'll keep it on. And Providence is good. They're won 20 games. They're 20th in the nation and maybe even going to be higher after this weekend. And they weren't a lock to be in.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm like, what are we doing here? And I know their schedule isn't crazy hard, but they're in the tournament. They're the top 20 team in the country. They should be in the tournament.
I'd agree with you.
And they said should be in. So it's not I think maybe they were thinking one more win away or something to lock it up. But it is, what's crazy about all that is the ACC just is not that good.
They're not good
and
at
we've
all.
said that multiple times. Kentucky all of a sudden is doing well and playing well.
Yeah. Don't believe in them. Which
is interesting because Calipari, they won as a 7 seed, right?
I think so.
The year they won, he won as a 7 seed. That was a hell of a coaching job to get him as bad. Everybody would say they always got players. It's a bad coaching job if Kentucky's a 7 seed. But to get him playing their best basketball at the end of the year, hell of a coaching job. They might be doing that right now. He might be getting into form. And maybe they make a run in the NCAA tournament. The Big 12, Big 10 loaded with teams. UCLA might be playing the best out of anybody.
Sure.
Really, it's just going to be a great month, and it should be a really good month around here, too, with the Players' Championship coming up and whatever the Jags decide to do on the league year and everything else. So worth celebrating a heck of a weekend, and I think a heck of a couple of weeks since the Super Bowl. There are times where it feels okay, football's done. Now it's close up shop for a little bit. It hasn't felt like case around here at all. And oddly enough, the Jags aren't even much of a factor in it because they don't have the number 1 overall pick or the number 2 or 3. They're not going to spend a ton of money.
Yeah.
They've got some news and notes we're going to get into here and coming up next, but it's just pretty wild that the Jags aren't even really in a lot of that conversation. They've been kind of under the radar.
And you can't even
last couple weeks.
It's hard to even mock hardcore because it all depends on what happens with Evan Ingram.
Yeah, a lot of it depends.
It's the whole thing. I think everyone thinks tight end if they don't bring Ingram back, and if they do, then it's all open again. But we're still real early on the mock drafts because I went through a couple earlier today, and we got guys that in the CBS mock are going 23rd or going in the 40s. So, the combine this week will help straighten that out, I would hope. But, it's even hard to dive into the mocks fully because you don't know what you're doing.
Well, not only that, but we know there's going to be an outlier coming out of the combine with the mocks of Anthony Richardson. There already has been, and that guy's a little goofy who's put him up number 1. But the bottom line is people are going to shove him up the board, and then we have polarizing conversations and debate. Where does he fit? And he is a freaky athlete, and he is seen in Jacksonville every 3 days working out. He's
here,
obviously he's a Gator, but he's working out here in Jacksonville prepping for the draft, and where he might be the central figure of the draft. I don't know who would you put as a central. Obviously
him.
Bryce Young.
Well, the Bryce Young stuff is interesting because today it came out he's officially 5'11 and a half.
Is that what they measured him today?
That's what. Which I don't understand how he got measured today because it hasn't even started yet.
I know. I thought measurements were tomorrow or something. Right?
But it came out today from our guy Dove. 5'11 and a half is the number.
Maybe they did measure.
So that's interesting in itself.
I wonder if he tried to get in front of it.
Oh, could be.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there a possibility that it's hey, I took my own height and this time I'm not going to lie in the program?
Yes, probably. I would bet. But also comes out today that C.J. Stroud's going to throw, which is interesting. So, yeah, Anthony Richardson is the guy, the watcher there. But if the Bryce Young height stuff really comes in to be a problem and C.J. Stroud lights it up, you never know. And then Anthony Richardson is expected to light it up. And if he really lights it up, then I bet for real the number 1 stuff comes into conversation.
Yeah, it's there's some wild discussions on the combine on Anthony Richardson. Let's get into that a little bit more. Who is the central figure of the NFL combine this week? We'll take a break. When we come back, we've got a lot to dive into with the Jags. What did these moves mean? At face value, there's a lot of sense, but what does it mean? There's a lot of things here. Oluokun gets restructured. Hasty gets extended. What does that mean for the backfield? Who are they trying to save with Oluokun's money? Who's next? Brandon Sheriff, Cam Robinson? Can they do that? We know Shaq Griffin and Marvin Jones are likely gone. How much can they create? And could they afford somebody else bigger than we think? Or is this all too clear space for Evan Ingram? Did the signing of Jawan Taylor become more likely after Oluokun gets restructured? What about Arden Key? I mean, all these. And then Roy Robertson-Harris changes what you might do in the draft at 24 and beyond. He's not a cap casualty, folks. They're not just keeping him. He's extended.
They said, we want you here until, 27? Let's do it.
Really wild weekend. Face value is one thing. What it all means is another thing. We'll get into that in the central figure at the Combine. Who do you think it is? Like, who is the piece of the Combine that people will talk about the most? And it could easily be Bryce Young. Is it Anthony Richardson? Is it someone else we're missing? Whatever happened to all the Will Anderson discussion? Is that guy getting drafted? Well, yes, he is. But remember, he was like the talk of last year when he couldn't be drafted. And now I don't hear anything about the guy. We'll be back on ESPN 690. Happy Monday, Brent and friends, on a Monday edition on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Near record warmth continues today with our daytime highs in the mid to upper 80s, and the skies stay mostly to partly sunny. We'll be partly cloudy tonight and mild with overnight temperatures in the 60s, and then partly sunny on Tuesday with a brief isolated shower. Still warm, though, with highs in the mid 80s. Stay cool. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
It's transition time to the spring season on the campus of the University of North Florida. Busy time to swoop baseball, softball, tennis, beach volleyball, track and field. Something for everyone at UNF. Find the schedules, results, the stories of the student athletes, and buy tickets at UNFospreys.com. Plus, be an Osprey supporter and help get scholarships fully funded at UNF. Giving Day is coming up on March 22nd. And check out the strategic plan of the future for UNF athletics. You can find all that at UNFospreys.com.
Attention Dish customers. Dish Network dropped WFOX Fox 30, depriving you of your favorite programs, local news, weather, and sports. Call Dish now at 1-800-333-3474 and tell them to put WFOX Fox 30 back on the air. Don't let Dish keep you from the important news, sports, and entertainment programming you love. Call Dish now at 1-800-333-3474 and then switch to another TV provider.
Hank Williams' 100-year celebration starring Obie Award winner Jason Petty this Thursday night, 7 p.m. at the Florida Theater.
Hey, good looking.
Jason Petty gives the audience a personal look at Hank Williams' life and career. Also backed by a 4-piece band, this show is chock full of Hank's hits, from Your Cheatin' Heart and I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry to Hey Good Lookin' and Lovesick Blues.
I got the love sick.
Hank Williams' 100-year celebration starring Jason Petty this Thursday night. Get tickets at floridatheater.com.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with One-to-One Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? One-to-One Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at one-to-one-fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Hi, this is Stan Nagel for Energy Seal Foam Insulation, reminding you that summer's coming. Give us a call. Save 30% off our summer rates. Call EnergySealToday.com. We spray attics, subfloors, metal buildings. EnergySealToday.com, 888-306-3626.
Flagler Health Plus presents the Brave Summit on March 29th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater, a free event about mental health for all high schoolers, with speakers, music, and free food. Go to eventbrite.com and reserve your free ticket today.
Men, if you're struggling with erectile dysfunction or PE and frustrated taking pills that don't work, Prime Men's Medical Center offers breakthrough medical treatments that effectively treat your problem. 98% of patients experience immediate results during their first office visit. And for a limited time, your initial consultation and first treatment are completely free. Listen to a specialist in men's health.
I'm Dr. Rubinsky. The physicians at Prime Men's Medical Center offer the most advanced treatments that eliminate ED and PE. Now men are lasting 30, 60, 90 minutes or longer, regardless of age or medical history.
Guys, to eliminate your frustration in the bedroom, call Prime Men's Medical Center now to take advantage of this exclusive limited-time offer. Your initial consultation and first treatment are totally free, and you'll see instant results right in the office. Call now, 904-664-8214. 904-664-8214. That's 904-664-8214.
Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. You can watch us on CBS 47 and Fox 30. You can listen right here on ESPN 690. And you can subscribe to our YouTube and podcast, Action Sports Jacks on ESPN 690. Action Sports Jacks. Watch, listen, subscribe. Didn't work that commercial break out well enough with my snacking.
You tried.
I didn't finish.
Nah. It was close, though.
It was close. Couple bites. Couple of chews.
It's good old-fashioned protein bars.
That's right. Man, the weather's unbelievable out. Record high today.
Is it? I said today when I left the house, I was like, I don't think it's that warm. I'm wearing a jacket.
You are. It's nice because it's not humid.
Right.
So apparently it's like 86 today. It doesn't feel it. It
no,
really
it
doesn't
definitely
feel
does
it.
not.
And actually it was even like not chilly this morning, but you could have got away with a little something heavier this morning.
Well, jacket action.
Well, jacket action's okay. That's good weather now.
Yeah,
that is good weather here in February. That's why we live in Florida, they say. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter. Not in today. He's got the sinuses working.
Yeah.
I feel you, man.
I've been sneezing like crazy, bro, and I don't get like that. Like, I never have that problem.
Oh, you don't have allergies or anything?
No, but I've been having that problem.
I mean, it's pretty bad right now. I see the pollen everywhere. But January is a bad month for me because I think it's, what do they say, pine, I think. And then the one that shifts over to now is oak is the main one. But I think pine I do worse with. And then we went up to Georgia on Friday night into Saturday, and I think what I was wondering, I got triggered there. And I didn't know if it was just because or because you go up to Georgia, maybe they have pine in like February. And so I don't know if it came from Georgia or if it's just because it's pollen and everything else around here with it all popping.
That's a good call. I went to Georgia yesterday, and I had a sneeze fest in the car.
Yeah, it wasn't a good night's sleep for me. So I feel you.
By the way, talking about great plays, that kid in the Creekside game, the third baseman for the other team.
Remember that? Yeah, you were watching?
I watched the whole game.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That was a pretty good game for us.
Once I figured out it was on.
Yeah.
I missed Ty's first at bat, but
you didn't miss
I saw
much.
the rest. Yeah.
That kid made a heck of a play at third. Yeah.
Heck of a play.
Yeah. That was a good team. You know, we got away with one there.
It was a good game.
They're good.
Brought in, what's his name? Struck out some kids. That was good.
Yeah. Drew Herbst.
Yes.
Nick Romeo was brilliant on the mound. I mean, you talk about a change. He was like, this is a sophomore pitcher for Creekside.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
he was feeling so good that he wasn't like laughing at the kids, but he was kind of smiling on the mound while they kept swinging and missing. Because they couldn't do it. Like his changeup is nasty, just drops, and they couldn't touch it. That's a good team now, too. Like they have 2 Miami commits and like 6 other commits, and he held them at bay. So that was a fun game.
A bit salty that you had to go all the way to Georgia to play another team from Florida?
Not really, because they're from Miami, so it's actually a shorter drive.
Ooh.
So we went to Valdosta.
Nice.
And
what a campus.
Oh, my gosh.
Drove by yesterday. I was like, holy cow.
So you went up that way?
Yeah, I went to Atlanta.
Oh, that's right. Did you come back today?
Last night.
Gosh, you're crazy. Did you get what you needed?
I did.
Oh, God, good thing. I don't want to see you when you don't get what you need going to Atlanta and driving there and back.
It's not fun. Like, I did okay. Could have done better, but it's fine. We move on.
We drove 20 minutes out of the way just to go to the Busy Bee on our way to Valdosta.
I almost texted you last night because I was like, hey, I'm pretty sure there's a Buc-ee's on 75 before Atlanta. And I was like,
there
you know
is.
who would know? Yeah, there is.
Macon.
Yes.
Right before Macon. It's actually like,
Warner
it
Robins,
seems like it's in Macon, but it's really like 30 miles or 30 minutes from Macon. But did you go?
Oh, I hit it last night about 10:30. Still packed. Still packed.
Of course it was. I think they just announced they're putting another location in Central Florida. I didn't see where. I'm assuming Orlando, but I don't know where they're going with it.
I was like, what are y'all doing around here?
So you bring up the baseball game in Georgia, and two things about this. We will start a week from today, a brand new show with high school baseball and softball. And also, you travel ball folks, it doesn't have to be baseball and softball. You'll get what we're talking about. And just youth sports in general, we'll have topics. So we're going to touch on all this stuff in an hour. And it's called No Gate Fees for a reason. So that starts
free
next week. 7 o'clock right here on ESPN 690. We'll have it all on social media channels as well. Hopefully you can participate. And looking forward to that show and highlighting area, high school baseball and softball, and kids like committed to the uncommitted like we did last week at Nimnik Buick GMC. We're going to continue that program in the spring with these sports and have one winner from each sport and talk to coaches and tell you a little bit about the scene. We have really good baseball and softball around here, but also have a conversation point about what you probably talk about potentially if you're in that world or have been in that world while you're having a pop or two in the cul-de-sac and complaining, or some of the parts that you enjoy. So we'll have a topic each and every week when it comes to that. So that's one thing. The other thing is you mentioned the facilities. Mm-hmm. It is amazing, the Georgia facilities when it comes to high school sports.
Wild.
I do it every summer. We go to Atlanta, and so we play on all the different baseball fields. We know, we've been to Hoover, Alabama. That's obviously not Georgia, but, you see the facilities for high school football in areas. But Georgia is just amazing when it comes to high school facilities, almost across the board. There are a lot to pick from that are amazing. Bishop Kenny is an amazing backdrop here in town.
It is.
Just a great setting. And their facilities are fantastic. But the backdrop plays into it. In Georgia, maybe there are great backdrops too because you got the mountains and all these different parts. But we're talking facilities. That Lowndes facility is where we were. And they just built a brand new indoor. Like they did what the Jags are doing.
Crazy.
For high school, they have a college right next door. And the high school is building the indoor. Now, Lowndes has long been good. But I think I saw in their stadium, they haven't won a state championship since 2007.
Yeah, that's not acceptable.
They want to get back.
If you have indoor facilities in high school, you better win everything. For everything.
Well, it's an arms race.
Full turf, right, on baseball?
Full turf they just went to. You don't like that?
Nah. I don't want to say it's unfair. It's kind of unfair. If you play on turf every game and every practice, you know the exact hop every time if you're the infielder.
Yeah, but
every time.
I would say it gives you a disadvantage, though, when you go on the road and everywhere else, when you're playing on a dirt field, because you're used to the easiest of hops and you're never getting a bad hop. And, part of the game is dealing with the dirt and the soft, the hard nature of it. Where's it going to go? I think it might give you an advantage at home, but I think it puts you at a little bit disadvantage when you're going everywhere else to play.
Yeah, but fair. But if you're good enough and you're winning and hosting your district games.
Yeah, it's certainly a home field advantage. I could see that. I never really thought of it like that.
We played full turf, Pirate City and Bradenton is full turf, obviously, because it's a Pittsburgh Pirates field. It just, they sold us on it being cool, and then we got there, we're like,
It's okay.
It's okay.
I know our grounds crew folks around here hate it, and I see why, and I get it. Listen, I prefer grass.
It's at best okay.
But I also like the fact that you don't have to worry about rainouts. Yeah. There is something to that. And you know what you're going to get. And I guess some of the maintenance is debatable on how much it costs effective. But the maintenance part of it obviously is a lot easier. But, yeah, I'd rather have it on grass. Just real quick, we'll go the whole thing on the Lowndes facility. So their football's incredible. Great. It's older school, and they've redone a lot of it, I think. So they add this indoor facility, and it's full length. Well, I didn't know this, but they recently did the baseball, and there's an indoor part to that. Kasey Kurtz, these guys have pictures of the indoor facility of Lowndes baseball. It looks like a low D1 college. Ping pong table, foosball table, lockers, stuff like, I mean, full tilt. They don't have this stuff at UNF. They guarantee they don't have it at UNF, like I know for a fact.
That's crazy. I got to dig up a Palmetto High School locker room shot if I can find one. Compare it to that.
Locker room? Like, we didn't have a lot. Like, a locker room was where
we had
whatever gym class was.
We had a field house.
Did you?
Whatever you're picturing, anybody that's listening, they had a field house. It's not what you think. It was the worst.
It's amazing.
It's amazing we didn't get, what's that disease where, like, if something's gross and you live in your house?
MRSA or something?
Yeah, it's amazing that we don't all have that if you play baseball.
I guess you get ringworm, too, or something.
Yeah, right? I mean, all the diseases in our little field house. Hopefully they change that.
But it really is astonishing, the amount of just dollars in the facilities. It's just crazy. And I think it's actually kind of cool. I don't know if it's right. I don't know if,
it's awesome if you're a player.
I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's big. Like, that's what's important. You can tell it's important. I mean, I don't know what the library looks like, and there's probably some debates about that in town, right?
There probably should be.
But I still think it's cool. All right, let's talk NFL.
Did you just see this from the NFL?
No, what happened?
Carson Wentz released.
Released by the Commanders.
Yep.
He'll be an interesting one. Where does he... I mean, he's just a backup quarterback now, right?
Yes, right.
I mean, does he end up in, like, Miami backing up Tua?
That would actually be smart because you know he's going to play at some point, and then you have a guy. Carson Wentz to me feels very, I'm going to sit here and wait till somebody gets hurt till training camp-ish.
Yeah, that could happen.
Like, I'd be very surprised if I know he can't sign right away, but when the league year starts, I'd be surprised if this is something we hear about quickly. You might miss something in the draft. Somebody might get hurt. Like, I think this is a wait and see play. But yeah, he's a backup at best unless somebody gets hurt.
I don't know how coveted, like, Teddy Bridgewater was last year before he ended up in Miami. I can't even remember, but I think it lingered a bit. So a guy could happen that way. Yeah, I don't think he's going to be, let's go run out and get him. I don't believe that either. But he's a backup quarterback now. Like, that's it. Like, he's not a starter anywhere. Nobody's signing him to be a starter.
Probably not. Is he the best backup? It's weird how you go from the worst starter to the best backup, but it's possible. Like, you feel good if Carson Wentz...
Has Matt Ryan retired yet?
No, he's going to play, I thought.
For who?
Well, he didn't retire. He wants to play. Let's put it that way. Like, you feel good if Carson Wentz is your backup.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
But, like, I feel good that Minshew's my backup if I'm the Eagles. You don't?
Nah, I do. Yes. I mean, the problem is the argument there, and it's the same one with Carson Wentz because he's played a lot of football. Like, Minshew got 2 games.
Yeah, he got a couple.
Didn't win.
He didn't win, but he played okay the first one, not so great. So that's, to me, it's like 50-50, right? That's what you get out of backup quarterbacks. It's kind of like a 50-50 proposition. Roy Robertson-Harris, you surprised he got extended when that news came down?
Yeah.
I was too.
I mean, he did some really good things when you needed it the most, but I think the contract and the tenure as a whole, up and down, leaves you with some questions. I thought that was the position that they would go get a veteran, even if they had to overpay a little bit. I thought they would take that salary and go for like a Fletcher Cox, for example. Maybe that's just what I wanted them to do. I thought that was a position that could use it. But now that it happened and everything, like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm not. This isn't a critical move. In fact, what I like about this time of year and things like this that happen is we weren't really thinking that. Like, we were trying to play scenarios. Okay, are they going to keep him?
Right.
Or are they going to cut him? And he's going to be they didn't want to cut him. Like, I know that. But $10 million is $10 million when you're up against the cap. And I thought just the opposite of you. I thought they would go draft a guy. In fact, I pegged 24 in the draft to be that guy. And now you start developing a young player and you go a little cheaper route. Well, no, instead they take me for a turn and say, hey, here's how we're going to clear the books. He's 27 years old. We're going to go give him a few more years. And I'm like, okay, that makes some sense. Like, I'm okay with that. I see it. And here's the other thing it tells me. And this is not, we're not done with this stuff. That's another Urban Meyer pass.
Yeah.
Like, that's Urban, no, not Urban Meyer bringing him in. Or Bulky. Or maybe Bulky was the heavy in bringing him in. Remember, it was an early signing for them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's more like he might not have played well in the Urban situation. We're not judging that year. We're judging year 2.
Ah.
In year 2, he showed some great flashes and inconsistent flashes for the first 12 weeks. And then he showed some really good play down the stretch and into January. And that's the guy we think. It took him a little while. New defensive coordinator. You know, we didn't put this guy in a position to be successful is what they're saying inside the building maybe.
I get you.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's an interesting way to look at these guys. You know, we said it with Trevor. Is it fair to say that with other guys? Rayshawn Jenkins, the guy I brought up a lot in this conversation. Why didn't he play well his first year in Jacksonville, but he was awesome this past year? Well, maybe he didn't thrive in the Urban situation or couldn't overcome it, you know, to play his best football. Now he's in a better situation. Maybe the scheme fits better, whatever it is, but he played better football with Doug Peterson, with Mike Caldwell, with this staff. And I wonder if that's what they thought about with a guy like Roy Robertson-Harris. And we think he's this player that played the last month and a half more so than he was the player that played the first year and a half here in Jacksonville.
Yeah, and you could say the same about Cisco, although he didn't get to really play under Urban Meyer, but it's a similar story there. Here's what's weird to me about the whole Urban Meyer, that standpoint. Looking back, they made a lot of good moves.
They made a lot of good moves, but
got
they
wide
didn't
receiver.
get the best out of those guys that they made, right?
Right.
They came out in the wash the next year good.
The coaching part of it was not good. That whole thing was bad, right? Now, the question is, who is either not getting enough credit or who got too much credit or who didn't get enough when it came to Trent Baalke?
Well, first of all,
because a lot of those moves have worked out in retrospect.
A lot. And I'm not going to get into it right here. Maybe in the next one, or maybe we'll wait till 4 o'clock. We'll figure it out. But I think what you just brought up is an interesting one to look at because we've talked about this kind of sideways a bunch. But if we look at all the moves that were made, people don't want to give any credit to Urban. And I get it. I don't care who gets the credit. It doesn't matter to me. But it's crystal clear that everyone in the Jags brass blames Urban for everything that went wrong last year. So much so that Trent Baalke kept his job, and we know what transpired there when Urban got fired and everything else, and it's probably a good thing he kept his job because Trent was part of the people they brought in.
Right.
And from ETN being drafted, who I think was an Urban play, but it's on Trent's watch, to Walker Little, to Cisco, to Rayshawn Jenkins signing,
Tyson
to
Campbell.
Robertson-Harris and Tyson Campbell and the rest. Like, he's got his name attached to it, and we would put his name attached to it if he failed. We have to put his name attached to it, even though I don't think all those moves were Trent's because Urban had so much power. But to go back and say Urban did some things that were like, he could spot some talent. Like, he didn't know what the hell to do from a culture standpoint and everything else last year. He messed it up, but he could spot talent, I think is what's shaken out here in Jacksonville because you're like, this isn't one example or two examples. There's a bunch of examples of the guys that they brought in really playing good football last year, and they are still a part of it going forward.
I mean,
these are some long-term solutions.
Outside of the receiver debacle, I mean, Marvin was good, but like the Dorsett, that whole thing was odd. But
that thing wasn't.
And then
but Agnew.
Carlos Hyde wasn't great. But other than that, I mean, they've now extended Roy Robertson-Harris. Rayshawn Jenkins isn't going to get cut, I don't think.
Nope.
I mean,
he's definitely not getting cut.
Well, but so they're staying. Agnew's going to stay. I mean,
yeah, we'll talk more
out.
about we'll go through some of it. I want to stay on Roy Robertson-Harris, too, and kind of what that means. And we've got some other moves to get to with Hasty and also Oluokun. And we've got plenty of time to talk about it, so we will spend some time on the Jags because there's a lot going on here from a domino standpoint, at least in my mind. One other thing with Roy Robertson-Harris as we do go to break, don't sleep on ego of Trent Baalke, too. If he helped bring him in, he's like, I'm keeping him. Because that's the guy I brought in, the guy that played the last month and a half. They all have egos now. They all want to be right. as much as possible. Hardest thing to do is admit when you're wrong. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
The USS Orlick is a one-of-a-kind floating ship museum. Come visit her in downtown Jacksonville.
There's a feeling in the air where people seem to care in Jacksonville.
The Orlick, a Gearing-class destroyer with 18 battle stars, is one of the most distinguished ships of all time, and the most since the end of World War II. Jacksonville is a military town, and the Orlick honors all those that have served our great country. She's a great location for special occasions and meetings. Weddings, birthdays, anniversaries, memorial services are all spectacularly displayed on her massive deck. The Orlick is also a one-of-a-kind location for a business meeting. Your dream event can come to life aboard this historic destroyer. To find out more, visit jacksnavalmuseum.org or call 904-789-SHIP.
This is where I'm meant to be. Hello, Jacksonville. Hello, Jacksonville. I'm where I'm meant to be.
Find out more about holding your next event on the Orlick. 904-789-SHIP.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I'm asking about Prevnar 20 because there's a chance pneumococcal pneumonia could put me in the hospital.
Age 65 or older, you may be at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a Pfizer vaccine that can help protect against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. The most commonly reported side effect was pain at the injection site. For additional common side effects and full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
I want to be able to keep my plans.
So I'm asking my doctor about getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
From local town councils to Capitol Hill, agents who are realtors are standing up for what's right. We're here protecting property rights. Here advocating for the issues that affect our neighborhoods. Here championing fair and equitable housing for all. Because we are realtors, bound by a code of ethics, driven to serve our communities. We're here for it all. Here for you. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Searching for fun ways to spend your tax return? Boats for cats. Oh, flotation devices for cats. Don't waste it all on something silly. Spend smarter with Straight Talk. Get our Silver Unlimited plan for $45 a month with unlimited high-speed data and with nationwide 5G. Plus, get a Samsung A13 5G for only $99.99, down from $149. If you're looking to get the most out of your refund, your search ends here. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. 5G capable device required. Actual availability, coverage, and speed may vary. See latest terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Flagler Health Plus presents the 3rd annual Brave Summit on March 29th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. This free event is accessible to all high school students and welcomes conversations about mental health among teens. Enjoy free food, prizes, entertainment, music, and speakers centered around the idea of breaking down stigma and talking about the issues affecting teens the most. Reserve your free ticket at bravesummit2023.eventbrite.com.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
It's time for Supercross at Daytona International Speedway on March 4th, and ESPN 690 has your chance at a pair of tickets. Visit the contest page at ESPN690.com. You can also purchase tickets at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Hey, welcome back. This show's going to be a fun one today. I got a feeling we're already 50 minutes in. It feels like we just started 3 minutes ago. So get ready to have some more fun, Kasey Kurtz.
No, this is going to be fun.
We can have more fun without Aaron Schachter. He'll be back tomorrow.
You think Aaron? I don't think he's really sick.
No?
Nah.
Just didn't want to work today?
Yeah, I'm not sure what it is fully, but I think there's something. Because, I haven't seen it yet, but he posted on his Instagram story.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm going to check it out right now, actually.
I mean, he was at a party yesterday and texting us.
Was that yesterday?
Was that yesterday?
I don't know. I had a long day yesterday.
I don't know. It was a long weekend.
Let me see.
Which was great, but it was a long weekend.
Yeah. It's just a picture of his kid.
No.
Never know.
That's it?
I'm not going to show that
crazy?
to the stream. I don't want to do that.
You're like a conspiracy theorist. You always think there's something more, man.
Listen. Yes, but not in a bad way. I'm not one of those conspiracy theorists. But, yes, I have some thoughts. Aliens especially.
There's something more with South Beach Gary right now. South Beach Gary, what's happening?
Hey, Brent Case.
Hey, wait. South Beach Gary. South Beach Gary.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. I got something for you. I asked Kasey to get for you today. Here it is. Just before, keep your comment for a moment, but first I wanted to share this.
4.9 to go. Cleveland, he'll launch it at the horn for the win.
Oh, my gosh!
It's good. Cleveland buries it at the horn for the win. It's good. Fire up the war chant and plant the spear. Knowles win. Knowles win. Cleveland does it again. It's all over.
Jeff Colhane on ESPN 690. They were down 25 and the Knowles stink, South Beach Gary. What about that Miami Hurricanes program?
Hey, Brent, you know what I got? Who's the top of the ACC and who's got 9 wins for the year? All right? One game doesn't make a season.
I've made my weekend, though.
Who's the top of the ACC, Brent? You're ignoring the question.
Listen, Miami's better, but they blew a 25-point lead against the Knowles.
Get him, Brent.
It happens. Dallas blew a big lead against the Lakers. It happens.
That's the NBA. Everybody, there's no such thing as a lead in the NBA.
Good point.
But I was looking at what the Jags did so far. They restructured Robertson-Harris's contract. What do you guys think about what they've done so far? Where do you think the moves are going to be as far as along the offensive line and defensive backs? What do you think? Is there going to be restructures or any of those guys going to be waived? What do you guys? What is your head telling you about what's going to happen in those positions for the Jags?
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate it. First of all, I think the Roy Robertson-Harris thing is clear that they didn't love what's up in the draft or free agency from a defensive line standpoint, and also they like him. Like, I think it says a lot of things. I mean, that's this really indicated to me. We know they want Evan Ingram. They'd love to keep Jawan Taylor if they could. They'd love to keep Arden Key. I think they've been vocal and transparent about it.
Mm-hmm.
But even C.J. Beathard, JaMycal Hasty, who I think we can get into a little bit more, and I like the Hasty signing. It's a pretty minimal signing, but I like the signing.
Me too.
But I think what Roy Robertson-Harris said to me the most is they want to keep the band together, man. Like, they think they are close, and they also think continuity is important, is what the Robertson-Harris more than anything else said, that we're willing to go here with it rather than go the other side. A lot of teams would go the other side and make a business decision the other way in a cap casualty. So, to me, that's what it said.
I would agree, and I also – here's the thing, and we just did this relatively recently, me and Brian, and it was like, are they one player away on offense, one player away on defense, or are they fine? And I like their roster. Their roster is not good enough to win the Super Bowl or win the AFC, in my opinion. So that's what scares me about keeping it fully together.
I there's a sense of that with me, too. And I think we're going to hit the top here in a minute, but there is a sense. The other thing that I just tweeted is Urban Meyer, to our conversation before the break, did way more than we're ever going to give him credit for. And I'm not sure he deserves credit for anything. But the bottom line is some of his player acquisition, along with Balky and everybody else, again, anybody who had a say in it in 21.
Yes.
They did a good job of player acquisition. He also made stuff happen down at the stadium with their performance center.
Which is looking nice. I saw it on Saturday night.
His disaster of a campaign also helped the Jags, I think, have a chip on their shoulder and actually be very hungry of a football team, and also helped land Doug Peterson. Like, there's a lot of different things that happened here. And again, this isn't, give Urban Meyer all the credit in the world. No. But there's kind of a little bit of a, thanks, Urban. Thanks, Urban. Thanks for that, Urban. Thanks for that, Urban. There's a little bit of that here in Jacksonville because of the Urban Meyer experiment in a very weird way. We got so much to get to with the Jags. I love all these conversations. We can go a little bit deeper. How close are the Jags? How close do they think they are? And what else is coming up next for Jacksonville? We'll answer some of the questions next on ESPN 690.
If you're still wondering why you should buy from Arlington Toyota, maybe this will help. How about peace of mind? When you buy any new Toyota from Arlington, their lifetime warranty goes with you. That's unlimited time and miles. Plus, there's Arlington's 30-day exchange program. That's 30 days to love your new purchase or exchange it. And Arlington goes the extra mile by extending your Toyota Care coverage to 3 years or 36,000 miles. Now you know why you should buy from Arlington. Shop in person, 10939 Atlantic Boulevard, and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Have you seen your financial freedom wiped out by stock market volatility? It's Rich Jones. Consider investing in real estate funds from DLP Capital. Don Winter is CEO and founder.
DLP Capital has provided our investors with consistent double-digit returns by investing in cash-flowing residential real estate. For more than a decade, we have had zero losses, little volatility, and have shot above our return targets in all of our investment funds. Plus, we offer monthly distributions and tax shelter opportunities.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Why should you hire the largest injury firm in the world for your injury case? Lots of people hired us. We've collected over $15 billion and won a lot. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Daytona Supercross is more than the race that defines careers and the sound of revving engines echoing in your ears. It's more than the brutal competition on the gnarliest course that I've designed to date. It's your heart thumping from being closer to the action than you've ever been before. The atmosphere, under the lights. I'm Ricky Carmichael, and this is Daytona Supercross. Do you feel it?
You will. Saturday, March 4th at the World Center of Racing. Get tickets and trackside access at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
ESPN 690 is home for the Florida Sportsman Fishing Show hosted by Captain Rick Riles. Tune in every Saturday morning from 7 to 9 a.m. to find out what's biting now. Fishing so fresh, you can almost smell it.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. The IRS just rolled out a new program to help struggling taxpayers more easily resolve their tax problems. It's called the Taxpayer Relief Initiative, and it opens up powerful new options for people looking to get back on the right track with the IRS. And no one knows this program like the professionals at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution company. They've resolved over $1 billion in tax debt for their clients and have the expertise and experience to help you. One easy call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries of wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Make today the beginning of your fresh start with the IRS. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief now for your free confidential consultation.
Call 800-337-4548. That's 800-337-4548. 800-337-4548.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
With Progressive's Name Your Price tool, you can find options that fit your budget, because giving you options is the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, like when I hold the door for someone. Sure, it may be weird if I don't time it right, and they're a little too far away, and now they're running. And we're both asking ourselves, is it worth it to run instead of just, letting them open their own door?
But still, it's the right thing to do. So get options based on your needs with Progressive's Name Your Price tool. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Every weeknight at 6 p.m., it's Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton, and check us out right here on ESPN 690.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi, breaking NFL news. One and done in D.C. for quarterback Carson Wentz. Wentz coming off a rough 2022 season, released by the Commanders, a move that had been long expected. The move does save Washington $26 million on the salary cap. Sources tell ESPN's Adam Schefter the Bears are leaning toward trading the top overall pick in April's draft, and several teams have approached Chicago. Bears GM Ryan Poles reaffirmed his commitment to quarterback Justin Fields last month. Whichever team winds up picking first overall, there's no doubt which quarterback should be selected with that pick, in the opinion of Fitz and Harry co-host Harry Douglas.
Number one for me is Bryce Young, and number two is C.J. Stroud. I'm not taking anybody else over those guys.
I agree.
Because I've seen their body of work. I've seen them do it against stellar competition. And you want to know the main thing, Fitz? I see them be consistent in doing so. There's no question about consistency with either one of those two guys.
Quarterback C.J. Stroud, Will Levis, and Anthony Richardson will throw at the NFL Combine on Saturday, but Bryce Young will wait for Alabama's Pro Day next month. Although he won't throw, Young will go through medicals and measurements at the Combine.
If you need to hire, then you need Indeed. The all-in-one hiring platform helps you schedule and conduct video interviews right from your employer dashboard. Finding your next great hire has never been more streamlined. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Kasey Kurtz.
Yo! But what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! Yeah! Boom! Jack! Boom! This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Man, I tell you what, there are some fast hours in sports radio, and there are fast hours. That was a fast hour for me. Hope it was for you. Or maybe you're just jumping in. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter should be back tomorrow. We're in and out all over the place in the next few weeks. March is kind of a crazy month. And we'll be here. We're not going anywhere. But it'll be different renditions of Brent and Friends.
Some of the friends. Some of the Brents.
Some of the Brents.
People. Humans.
Yeah, I'm in most of the time.
Yeah.
I think I'm in most of the time. But
you're good about taking, like, the show on the road.
Yeah.
And by, like, your vacations and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you're good on that. But also, like, you know, your name's on the show.
Well, yeah, I have the ability to do it. You can't really, like, it's harder to push buttons
From
and
not
do what
here.
you do from not here.
And it's kind of dumb, right? If I'm, like, somewhere else and I'm pushing buttons and you're in there, you're like, what's going on?
Yeah. The one thing I think we are going to do this year is bring people NCAA tournament games. That first and second round, we'll have it on ESPN 690.
Oh, all kinds of tournament
on
games.
Thursday and Friday. Yeah, we'll have them on Saturday and Sunday, but even during Brent and Friends. So, like, won't have shows that week. I'm just on the Thursday, Friday opening round games because it'll be, you can listen and check your brackets and do all that fun stuff.
Yes.
That looks the way we're headed. But other than that, we'll be here every day, 3 to 6. And then we usually take a little bit of time during June and early July and revamp it up back to football season. So before you know it, but don't wish it here, people. Please do not wish it here. We got 22 more games in high school baseball and 22 more games in high school softball to get through first.
22, huh?
That's it. Oh, hopefully more.
It's a lot of games.
Playoffs. And a little travel ball. We take our time with that stuff. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz. All right, we're talking a lot of Jags. And we spent some time on Roy Robertson-Harris. The Urban Meyer stuff to me is fascinating. Let's just go through it real quick. We kind of did, but to catch people up. Roy Robertson-Harris is the move they extend. That's how we got on this topic. Foye Oluokun, they clear some space. Makes sense. They might still do that with guys like Sheriff, Cam Robinson, who knows who else. What was the other move? Oh, JaMycal, Hasty. I think we'll talk about the running back room because the running back room is fascinating to me, where else they go. And we've had this kind of as a topic like ever since the Super Bowl, and we've never got onto it. And so we might spend a few minutes on the running back room. But if you go back and look at what Trent Baalke and the Urban Meyer brass did, however you want to give credit, I don't care, all right? That doesn't matter. They picked Trevor. They pick ETN. They pick Tyson Campbell. They pick Walker Little. They pick Andre Sisco. I mean, those guys are good players and part of this thing. We think they're good players, and they hope they're really good players.
Yeah.
Roy Robertson-Harris got signed. Rayshon Jenkins got signed. Again, guys that first year, this year, big. Luke Farrell still is on the team from a draft pick standpoint, but he's been whatever. Who else am I missing?
Did you say Tyson?
I did in the draft. I did the 5 draft guys. I did those 2 guys from free agency, Roy Robertson-Harris and
Agnew.
Agnew. Fantastic. Shaq Griffin's an interesting one. See,
I'm actually very interested in this because I thought it was a foregone conclusion. And the longer that it doesn't happen, I'm like, is it not a foregone conclusion that he's getting cut?
I think it's a foregone conclusion.
I know, but we got guys are getting cut around the league.
You know what's probably should be careful how I say this. I don't like, or I don't think, it's not I don't like. Let's erase that. I wonder how good the relationship is there between the Jags and Shaq Griffin.
It's fair.
And because of how everything went down last year. If you remember, he played awful against the Colts, and then he never showed up on the field again. Practice field or game field.
Yes.
And I'll never forget having Rasheed Mathis on and asking him, like, man, things feel a little disjointed here. Like, this is odd. And Rasheed even said, and you know Rasheed, he's very tempered, and he's not going to get emotional about anything. But he said, if I played that game against the Colts, I better have like a broken leg or broken something to not be at practice on Wednesday.
Right.
And to me, that always stuck out like, I bet that's the way they feel internally. Like he ended up having a hip injury or back injury, I think it was back. He was already playing with a little bit of a hip, but he never came back. And he wasn't around it like other guys were, like Barch and Cam Robinson late.
That's the thing that always stuck out to me is when I never really thought about it until whichever one of the first starts Walker Little had was. Or no, it was when he went in for Cam, I think, because I went over to talk to him, and Ben Barch was like still there and in the locker room, and I was like, oh, so Ben Barch is here, and he hasn't played for months, and he's still here half hour after the game, and like we haven't seen Shaq once.
Yeah, now I know he's been was in the building rehabbing, doing some of those things, but I just have this. It's really hard to nail it down. I'm not saying there's a bunch of animosity, but I don't think there's like this love affair with Shaq. So it's not like, oh my gosh, don't let him in the building. But it's more like this went down in a funky way, in an unwritten rule kind of way that doesn't sit well with everybody.
Yeah. And I didn't even tell you guys this. He's still here, by the way. I saw him at the airport when I came back from the Super Bowl. That morning,
did you?
He was like getting on the flight I was coming.
And Shaq's a great guy. Like he's awesome. And
yeah,
this is why it's also kind of strange.
He's the rare flip of everything else. He played well the first year.
He is.
Not so well last year.
Yeah, and even fans don't think he played well the first year because it was so bad.
He's one of the few bright spots.
But I actually think he did. I think he played better than people gave him credit for, and I think he had like 4 balls that if he should have probably caught 3 of them, if not 4 of them. And if he did, it would have been a really good year. But he missed them. So, I mean, he wasn't great, but he wasn't bad. Last year, to start the year, he was bad.
Somebody else in the chat, Mr. Pocket something, long name, sorry, can't read well, saw him at Walmart. So, like, to the point, he's still in town, which also kind of fuels my, I guess, conspiracy. Like, Carson Wentz got cut today. It's a big cap hit, too. Like,
okay, so what I'm getting at with this is guys that get released early. People organizations like to release guys early so they give the player the option to then go check everything out. Could we see the Jags squeeze in here a little bit and be like, we don't like the way that went down? We're going to probably cut you, or we're going to cut you later.
Possible.
I mean, would it be, that seems a little petty? Like, is it that big a deal? He's not a bad guy. Like, even if it did go down that, like, I don't know. Do organizations get petty like that?
I borderline think good guy.
Yeah, I think he is a good guy. But again, there's something off there with this relationship. There's something sour. And if there's something sour, they're going to hang on until the league year or just about and then let him go. I don't know. And this is total, like, guess. I know nobody talks about Shaq Griffin down there.
No. But, like, they know he's there.
Like, so much so that everybody in town, us included, we think he's gone. And I think we're right. He is gone.
I think we're right. But is there a fair, like...
Yeah, why hasn't it happened yet? I think it's a fair question.
But if he's not gone and he's healthy...
If he's not gone, we're going to be like, what the hell?
That's fair. But I was just saying, from an actual standpoint of the team, if you have him... and you don't necessarily have to work through what you might have to with a rookie corner or something like that, are they in a better spot? You can think about that because I know Steven wanted to get in about Roy Robertson-Harris.
One last thing, that Stat Boy says interesting. Are they seeing what they could potentially get in a trade with him? And that's a fair point. Could you do something? But here's the problem with that, I would say, Dan, like, unless they're going to completely rework the contract, is anybody taking on Shaq's contract? And are you willing to pay some of it to get like a 6th-round pick? Probably not.
I bet there's like Cincinnati, I bet would love to have him.
Yeah, listen, he's going to play. I don't think he's a bad player. I just don't. I think something went off and got off the tracks here in Jacksonville, and not to the point where it's going to just be fueled. I think it's more unwritten rule, feel kind of stuff. And I think we all have that in our industries that it just kind of works in a quirky way and it doesn't feel right. This one doesn't feel right with the Jags and Shaq Griffin this year. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's get to Steven now and Roy Robertson-Harris. What you got, man?
Hey, not too much. How you guys doing today?
Excellent.
Man, I'm sorry to hear about your allergy problem. I always hear it every year as long as I've been a listener about this time of year. I'd hate to see you do my job.
Yeah, I know it. I'm not allergic to grass, though, Steven, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, but I get pollen every day. But anyways, my thing with the Roy Robertson-Harris restructure and extension, I love it. I mean, the guy, if you're a real Jags fan and you see the sounds of the game, I mean, he became a leader later in the year when we went in that stretch of wins. And then you see the Chargers game, he's telling Trevor Lawrence, hey, do what you got to do, take it one play at a time, we got your back. So, I mean, and I got a huge stat for you. You might not believe me. Roy Robertson-Harris, or Big Roy as I like to call him, 3 playoff games in his career. He has better stats in the postseason, I hate to say it, than the mayor of Saxonville, Calais Campbell, and his playoff amount of appearances in his career, which I think is crazy, but I actually looked it up, and it's actually true. But I love the extension. He became a leader, and I think that really means something in football. So I'm glad they did it.
Thanks, Steven. Appreciate it, man. I saw a lot of this weekend when the Roy Robertson-Harris stuff, like leader in the locker room. He's a great leader. It's like, I don't know what that is. Like, there are some guys you know what that is. I don't think we know Roy Robertson-Harris well enough to know that. I think, yeah, I saw sounds of the game too, and I think he brings the huddle together sometimes. I think he was a calming influence. I think he's a guy that's been around a little bit. There is a maturity about him. Like, I think all those things are true, but I could say that about a lot of the guys in the locker room. I mean, this is a 53-man locker room. Now, you could say that about just about every guy. Like, there are some special leaders, right? I mean, you always have this separation, and so that's a funny one to me, but it's an okay thing. I'm just acknowledging that when I saw that all week, I was like, how do we know? Like, how do you know that? Because you saw him in sounds of the game for 3 seconds, and I'm not knocking you, Steve, and that's what you get. You get that glimpse of. That's the up-close glimpse. But I don't know that part. Is he awesome in the room? Is he incredible to help young guys along? Like, maybe he is. I just know this. Like, they were all pretty damn good by the end of this season, and that room felt great, so why not keep it together?
That's fair. I think that when we go in the locker room, he is always a guy that's vocal. He's always hyping up people that are doing interviews. He's very loud and animated, which is a good thing. So I'll say from that little bit that I see that not everybody gets to see, I mean, if you add that with the stuff that you hear, then you could put it together. He's definitely, at a minimum, a guy that you probably want to be friends with if you're in the Jags locker room.
Yeah, it feels
He's
about
a personality.
Right.
He's just fun. Seems like a fun dude.
Yeah,
so
I think you're right.
I think that goes for something.
Yeah. I think, all those things are right. I just think it's an interesting conversation. Like, I don't fully know that. And the thing about this postseason, especially the Chargers game, he was unbelievable. He was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, he might have got extended off the Chargers game.
Maybe.
Now, it's not his only good game because there are other flashes. But I will say this going forward, because right now it seems like we can't say anything critical about the Jags. Everything's sunshine and rainbows, and membership is at an all-time high, and I absolutely love that. You ain't going to get a guy in town that doesn't like that more than me.
You're passing out cards left and right.
But I think the one thing that we have to acknowledge about Roy Robertson-Harris and Foye is they are now both on 3-year, $30 million deals, and they need to be more consistent next year.
Big time.
Like, it's great when they're great, but they need to, if not be great all the time, be good all the time, because that's what you're paying them to do. Like, those are pretty significant deals for Foye and Roy Robertson-Harris that they think are going to strengthen their defensive line, be a big part of it, keep the continuity, all the stuff Everybody's right. But they got to do it more consistently than they have for the last 2 years in Robertson-Harris's case and Foye this past year, who was, quite frankly, more absent than he was present. And there were injuries and other things, but they need more out of those guys on a week-to-week basis, in my opinion, for paying them $60 million total.
No doubt. And outside of Shaq Griffin, is Foye the guy that's like most out of sight, out of mind? Shouldn't be.
Yes, like a hidden guy. Like when you're 3 years, $30 million, he is hidden. Like you forget about him.
Yeah.
And he had, again, I forget what game it was. It was late. He really played well.
Oh, Titans.
It was a Titans game?
Yeah.
Really played well. And he battled some injuries and stuff like that. And it is what it is. I think he's a good player. I expected more out of him. I was excited about that signing. I think he can do a lot. And you know me, I believe that defensive interior is ultra important. Really important. For the blossoming of Trayvon Walker to the hopefully big year to come for Josh Allen again. For those guys who really make the splash plays and people talk about the most, they need that interior good. And so I like these moves to solidify the interior. Just got to be a little more consistent there. I think that's a fair thing to say.
I still think they need a guy.
And they probably do, but it's not going to be an expensive guy now. That's a lot of money wrapped up. It's going to be a young guy.
A young guy. I think they need a young guy because – again, injuries and everything, like you said, if Foye has a similar year to last year, next year, he doesn't make it to year 3 of the deal.
Nope.
And then you're kind of in trouble because that's a guy that, I mean, we talked about it when they signed him. He was going to eat space in the middle. Roy Robertson-Harris, you at least can get after the quarterback in a more consistent way, we think. So you still need a guy that can do what Devon Hamilton does, I guess. You still need a young guy there, I think, no matter what. Maybe not at 24, but at whatever, 56 or wherever they are next, maybe.
Let's see. I was going to say, I was trying to look up when's the tag deadline? Does that go for a while? Looks like it does.
I think it goes for a bit.
The next thing, this is what I was going to get into, is Evan Ingram, Arden Key, Jawan Taylor. Is that the next thing? Like, what's the next? Marvin Jones isn't coming back. His contract ran out. You're not going to see an announcement.
The next move.
Shaq Griffin.
It'll be Andrew Wingard. Extension. I'm serious.
No, that's a good call.
Yeah.
Fair call.
But, yeah. I think Ingram, the next, out of the three you said is Ingram, because I don't think you're getting news on the other two. Like, I think you want to get Ingram done before, or tag him, whatever, before anybody else can. And I think Jawan and Arden, if they come back, it'll be after they decide to go to free agency and decide to come back, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that ain't happening, first of all. If they go to free agency, they're gone.
Right. I think they are gone. But I'm just saying.
I know what you're saying. I'm just saying they ain't coming back because they're going to get more in the open market. But so extension to Ingram. I like what you just said there. That's a good one. Just any bit of news on Jawan or Arden Key. Because I think we'll find out, like we won't probably, but like Ian Rappaport and Schefter will be like, hey, they're going to allow them to hit the market.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I mean, you're going to get that. And listen, March 1st is Wednesday. The league year starts in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and
it's 2 weeks. I mean, so you're going to find, coming out of the combine, so not this week, but by next Tuesday through Friday, you'll know, I bet we'll find out like where the Jags kind of sit on Taylor and Key.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be some reports of it.
And guys from other teams are going to start getting cut. You'll probably know exactly where Shaq Griffin, if he's on the Jags or not, as well.
And so that's where, like, what is the next bit of news then? News on Jawan Taylor not going to be re-signed. It's just not going to work out. News on Arden Key not working out or working out. Or extension for Andrew Wingard. I like that.
It's definitely Wingard. We'll know about Wingard.
I don't know, man. I feel like they're really close to Ingram. Like, they're probably not as close as it feels, but at the same time, they're not far. Because you've got social media team putting Ingram twice now in the last couple of weeks. I mean, in the last week. You've got Ingram going on Sirius talking about it. Like, there are some people that don't want to talk about free agency, and the camp's like, don't go. We don't want to talk about it. Don't say anything. They're openly talking about it, still willing to go, want to do it. The Jags are going to talk. The brass is going to talk tomorrow. Peterson and Balky in Indianapolis at the Combine. And they're going to mention it. They're like, yeah, we're trying to get it done. Like, they're going to be transparent about it, is my guess. So I kind of feel like that's the move. Is there a moderate move before then? Still get time for that. So I like where you're going. I like where your head's at there. But I do think of the big three. I don't think we'll hear rumors on Taylor or Key before we hear Ingram's a done deal.
I agree.
Like, they've got to do that. Like, again, 2 weeks is still 2 weeks. You got to get it done.
And,
Or you got to tag them.
Yeah.
Like, tag them could be the thing. I think I have a gut feeling we're going to get a tag.
Yeah.
Just to buy them time to get it done.
I'm leaning towards that as well. Is there, in your mind, and I don't know if red flag's the right one, like a yellow flag if Arden Key gets done before Ingram, just knowing their money situation? Like, I think they need every available resource to get the Ingram done, so I would be shocked if even like a Smoot got done first, which I don't think will, but like if they used money that we thought was for Ingram and that happens before, is that a yellow flag? Is there some sort of flag we should throw up there? I think there is.
I wouldn't panic on it, but I am so like Ingram's playing here in Jacksonville.
Right.
That like it's hard to get me off that. I'll admit it. Like it's hard to throw me away from that. I mean, I just was at Hayden Hurst golf tournament today. It's like, all right.
Shout out Hayden Hurst.
You got to talk to Hayden Hurst. He's going to make some money this offseason. He's a free agent.
That'd be cool.
And Bengals probably can't keep him, given their dollar situation, having to pay Burrow and everything else. So, I mean, there are other guys to get, but Ingram is such a priority. And Trevor's priority, too. You know, Trevor has Ingram as a priority, I think. Mm-hmm. And so it's just going to get done. So, no, I would say no to your question. I wouldn't be red flagged. I'd be stunned if Ingram doesn't work for some – like, I would use the word stunned. I'm to the point where I would be absolutely stunned if something doesn't transpire in a good way with the Jags and Ingram.
I'd agree with that.
Just doesn't make any sense. What's really opened my eyes now in the last couple of days with these moves is I don't think they're done restructuring.
I actually had that thought in my head too.
And so if they're not done, just think, Shaq off the books. It's a wash with Ridley and Marvin Jones. They just created $10 million with Oluokun, which I wasn't really thinking Oluokun there, but they still could go Cam and Sheriff and or whatever they want to do. They could probably restructure some dollars even in the Rashawn case if they wanted to do that. So they have more money to play with than I think we're giving them credit for, because we all know and say it, it's just not a real thing, the cap. You can maneuver it. What the question would be, are they willing to maneuver it and kick things down the road? And what they showed with the Oluokun deal is, yes, they are. They are willing to do it. And what they did with the extension with Robertson-Harris said, we're willing to kick it down the road and go put all our eggs in this basket and try to win right now while Trevor's on a rookie deal. And by doing that, Kasey, I think that actually brings Jawan Taylor more in play for me now than he has been this entire offseason.
It's interesting. I hope you're right. And when I think about restructuring, you said this a while back, and it would be weird for the Jags. You didn't say weird, but it would be weird for the Jags to go and ask Christian Kirk after a great year to restructure. Well, they just did with Oluokun.
They did.
And I wonder if you're a guy like Christian Kirk or Cam Robinson, you see the leading tackler in the league whose first year here, I mean, I'll say willingly restructure because it happened before anything else happened. I wonder if that changes the perspective of other players. Not saying that they weren't interested in restructuring in the first place, but I wonder if there's some, hey, this is our defensive captain, this is our leader, this is our guy who every play is never taking a play off, and he's restructuring right away to give us more space to get better. I wonder what the trickle down of that is.
Okay, so there's two different ways to look at this, too, and I think we probably got to be a little careful on the restructuring. And I get caught in this, too. What the Jags are doing right now has they are just moving money around, right? And it's complicated, but they're moving money around, moving off the books for 23. Oluokun's not getting a cent less, right, than what he was going to get.
Right.
So in your case, Kirk, Cam Robinson, Sheriff, they would get a cent. Not a cent less. Now, you got to be careful because dead cap money moves and all this stuff. Like, you can get into real trouble with it. but they are kicking it down the road. The thing that players really, really hate is restructuring like, hey, we don't think you're worth $8.5 million anymore, Rayshon Jenkins, so will you take 6?
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
So there's a difference there. As long as you get my money, how do I get my money? Sometimes it's better to get my money in bonus form or whatever form now than later, right? So it can actually benefit the player. How many will they ask to do that? How much do they want to kick down the road? What do they want their dead cap situation to look like in 2024 and 5 and all the rest? I can tell you they don't love doing it, but I think they also realize opportunity. And this shows you the mentality of the organization right now. They think they're good enough to win. Does that mean they're a player or two? I don't think it has to do with that. You're always more than a player or two away. It has to do a lot with development and continuity. Those are 2 huge words for me this offseason and going into next year. Continuity, they're keeping guys. Hasty, Beathard, Roy Robertson-Harris. Will they keep Wingard? They're going to try to keep Ingram for sure. Will they keep Taylor? Will they keep Key? They can try. If they do, that's continuity. Development is Trayvon Walker, Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma,
Fortner,
ETN even some, right?
Yeah,
Stop
absolutely.
fumbling, get more out of them.
Please.
Cisco. See, there's 2 different things here. That's this organization now is in continue to develop mode. So continuity and development, those 2 words are king right now. And they're going to add some pieces because you're doing the draft automatically. And I think they'll still add like these moderate guys to plug some holes coming up in free agency. But I think that continuity word is so big that it's got me thinking Jawan Taylor, with the money they're moving around, they just saw this play out and work to their benefit having 3 guys. How important is that to Doug? How important is that to Trevor? How important is that to Phil Rauscher, the offensive line coach? How important is that to Trent Baalke? I don't know. I don't know the answers. But I know from a business standpoint, I would say, you know what? You got to make some business decisions. Anybody who does a budget has to make business decisions, home or at an NFL team. And you have a cheaper option that can play that position that you drafted and are developing. It makes sense to let Jawan Taylor walk in favor of Walker Little. But now with all this money moving around, you might not have to.
Yep.
This is going to be interesting where they fall on that. Are they willing to make a tough business decision and let Taylor walk? Or are they unwilling to do it and continuity wins the day?
Get the band back together one more time.
But I kind of agree with you. Like, were they really that close to keeping just the band together? They feel like they are.
Mm-hmm.
I certainly sense that they feel like they are.
Definitely.
We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Partly sunny and warm on this Monday with our daytime highs into the middle and upper 80s. Some neighborhoods west of I-95 will touch 90 this afternoon, and we stay partly cloudy and relatively mild tonight with our overnight temperatures in the 60s. The humidity is still pretty low, so enjoy it. From the Action News Jax First Alert Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Corey Sima.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beards Diamonds, proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjax.com.
I'm Mark Anajar. I'm Glenn Levine. I'm Ellie Anajar. Together, we're Anajar and Levine. If you've been hurt in a car crash, we'll fight to get you the maximum compensation you deserve. Call Anajar and Levine for your free consultation. 1-800-747-FREE.
Main office, Jacksonville.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage. All at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals. Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
When I started in '98, it was a different mentality for first responders.
I've seen a lot of people struggle after retirement, still fighting the same demons that they had on the job.
The ability to reach out to a peer support program is huge.
I've done your job. I know the burden you carry. You've saved other people. Let us save you at this time.
It only takes a couple seconds to dial 3 numbers.
First responders, call 211 or visit stayfitforduty.org.
Jacksonville is a great place to live. And if you love where you live, you should invest in it. That's why more and more people bank with 1-to-1 Financial, Jacksonville's hometown credit union. We invest every penny back into North Florida, backing the very best small businesses, nonprofits, and of course the family home. Why put your money with some big out-of-state bank when you can invest in where you love to live? 1-to-1 Financial, we're your hometown credit union. Sign up today at 1to1fcu.org. Federally insured by NCUA.
Flagler Health Plus presents the 3rd annual Brave Summit on March 29th at the St. Augustine Amphitheater. This free event is accessible to all high school students and welcomes conversations about mental health among teens. Enjoy free food, prizes, entertainment, music, and speakers centered around the idea of breaking down stigma and talking about the issues affecting teens the most. Reserve your free ticket at bravesummit2023.eventbrite.com.
This is Sam, and he changed my life. If you're a veteran or know a veteran struggling with post-traumatic stress or traumatic brain injury, please go to AmericanHumane.org to learn about the Pups for Patriots service dog program.
A message from American Humane.
I'm Marcus Roberts, and I've been blind since I was 5 years old. I'm a jazz pianist and composer, and I've been fortunate to perform all over the world for more than 30 years. I am also a proud graduate of the Florida School for the Deaf and Blind. While there, I had great teachers who specialized in working with blind and visually impaired students. FSDB provided me with many of the essential skills I needed to succeed. The school is a state public school available at no cost to eligible K-12 Florida students who are deaf, blind, or both. FSDB helps students to do more, be more, and achieve more. It prepares them for a lifetime of success. For more information, call 800-342-3732 or visit www.fsdbk12.org.
A good work partner knows what you need before you need it. That's how it feels when you work with Cintas. Your dedicated Cintas service reps get to know your business and have the industry knowledge that can help you prepare for what's ahead. They'll deliver your team's workwear freshly laundered. Make sure your first aid and safety supplies, mats, mops, and towels are stocked when you need them. And your fire extinguishers are inspected and in working order. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Have you made your 2023 memory screening appointment? Annual memory screening should be part of everyone's health and wellness routine, even if you're not currently experiencing memory problems. The Alzheimer's Foundation of America offers free memory screenings every weekday, with no minimum age or insurance prerequisites. Learn more about memory screenings and schedule your free appointment by contacting the Alzheimer's Foundation of America at 866-232-8484 or visit alzfdn.org.
Did you know that you have the power to positively impact a local child's life?
It's as easy as donating to Daniel, Florida's oldest child service agency. Daniel provides counseling to abused children. Daniel helps homeless teens find shelter and learn to live independently. Daniel connects kids with foster families and strengthens at-risk families so they can stay together. They've done all this and more for 135 years. Please become a part of improving the lives of local children and families by donating at danielkids.org today.
Hey everybody, it's Brent Martineau from Action Sports Jacks. There's a good chance you have a smart speaker, so use it with ESPN 690. Stay up to date on the Jags and all things sports by telling Alexa or Google to play ESPN 690. It's as easy as that. Make sure you listen weekdays 3 until 6 p.m. on ESPN 690. All right, so all the Jags moves they made, JaMycal Hasty in the mix there.
How about it? Told you it was a good waiver claim. Nobody listened.
It was a waiver claim from San Francisco, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the moves that Trent Baalke has his name attached to.
Masterclass, dog.
I mean, it's, you can go on a good run in anything, right? Might not be a good golfer, but I might be able to play 6 holes well.
It's fair. It's a good call.
But you don't usually go on a 2-year run, and that's why I probably don't play 18 holes well very often.
Also true.
So is Trent Baalke like a lot better than anybody wants to give him credit for?
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's kind of what I was getting at earlier. Like with the urban stuff. Rayshon Jenkins actually is a pretty good player. Or Robertson-Harris, they extended. I know there's some pride there for Trent anyway, but I mean, a lot of their moves have worked out going back to the beginning. So, yeah, I think we're in a time though where you got to do it again. Like you can't whiff on a whole year of free agency in the draft. You just can't do it. But yeah, I mean, sneaky good moves. Trent Baalke. Shad must have known. Who knew?
Well, and that goes back to the Meyer conversation that we had. Like the blame was on Urban to the point where guys like Robertson-Harris, not that he was going to get cut, but guys that played poorly, Jenkins, Robertson-Harris, Trevor, or everybody else, that was Urban's fault. That was the culture fault. That was the setup fault. You're not in an environment to succeed. And I think that's a big thing in any walk of life. You got to be put in a position to succeed in any job. Think about your job right now. Are you doing well? Are you in a position to do well? Now, there's a difference between blaming everybody's for you doing well or not, or they're helping you do well, right? Or you've got the resources to do well, or whatever it is.
This is rhetorical, right?
No, this really isn't rhetorical. This is more for everybody listening.
Okay, cool. Because I was like, I don't know if you want me to answer that.
But and then if you're not, how are those resources, all this other stuff? So I think sometimes it parallels. Sometimes maybe you just don't want to admit you're not doing well. I guess there's that too, right? And sometimes that happens with players. Sometimes players just don't play well. The bottom line is Shaq Griffin was put in the same situation all these other guys thrived in this year, and in the first month of the year didn't play well. And they didn't play.
Yeah, was in a really good situation.
Foye Kasey was in a pretty good situation. He had some injury stuff, and he didn't play to his capability.
Tougher situation, but yes.
So we have examples of it. But the Trent Baalke stuff now, on the heels of everything that came out, and obviously now on the heels of the success of the Jags, and these guys did not know each other. That's what we have to keep reminding people. This was a marriage that was prearranged by Shad. It was Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson, and see if you can do this. 2 guys that were out of the NFL in the last 5 years were actually on the street at one time in the NFL. And now here they are. It's an unbelievable story, really.
It's a great story, and it's also, there's some intrigue that if they really did have to find someone that wanted to work with Trent Baalke before they came back to Doug Peterson, a lot of people looking mad dumb right now.
Yeah, a lot of people may have missed the opportunity, or maybe they need to look in the mirror because Doug made it work.
That's fair.
Or maybe people's view of Trent Baalke shouldn't be as bad as it is.
Both.
Because there is that view exists across the NFL. Like, these things aren't made up. Some of these narratives are not made up. There are people that didn't want to work with Baalke. There are people that say Baalke is maybe tough to work with or whatever they said for a year. But there are also a lot of people that will say this about Trent Baalke, and nobody wanted to listen, that he's a very good personnel guy. Now his ability to work with him, do I want to work with him? Does he this or that or like all these other things? But if you ask him about personnel, even people might say, yeah, but good personnel guy.
Yeah, I don't think we can argue that at any point.
And the Jags, right now in Jacksonville, he's looking like a good personnel guy. And it doesn't seem like any kind of personality conflicts have invaded the building to the point of this can't work.
Doesn't feel like it.
So it's really an amazing story what has transpired over the last year when it comes to Trent Baalke, but when it comes to the Jags and what Shad Khan, who could not figure it out as an owner, put these two guys together and now it's figured out.
It's crazy. And it's another thing that, not to take it off of Trent Baalke, but another thing that Doug Peterson should probably be praised for in the sense of we don't think anybody really wanted the job to work with them. And then they flourish. And it's just another, I guess, feather in the Doug Peterson cap of, holy crap, what did you do in the last 365? And that's one of those things.
Well, to that point, the news in Philadelphia was, and these guys are good in Philadelphia, right? Roseman, he's done a fantastic job. But they tried to pin everything on Doug, I think, was the story out of Philly when he got fired. Like, oh, he's having a conflict with this and that. And it's like, well, wait a minute. You came to work with somebody who the narrative around the league last year was you'd have conflict with Trent Baalke if you worked with him. And there's no conflict. So what does that say about all the people that said Doug left for X, Y, Z reasons?
Maybe they're toxic, just like
you
me.
know? So it's just a wild thing, and who knows what. See, we can all speculate. We have all heard every little bit. I think even the fans have heard a lot of different stuff. This is a very ego-driven business. This is a point-your-fingers kind of business sometimes, so you don't really know. It's really hard to know who's pushing what button. That's a reality. So you have to lump it all together. Like, I don't know who exactly Trent Baalke picked last year. I do know this, the way the business works. If I'm Trent Baalke, I'd be taking claim that I talked Urban Meyer into taking all these guys.
Yes.
That worked. I don't know who was the heavy in picking some of the guys in the draft this year or free agency. I wondered that. Ingram. Did Peterson say, hey, go get Evan Ingram, man. We can make that work. Go get Zay Jones. We can make him work. I really want Christian Kirk. Like, sure, Peterson probably had conversations like that. I can see this puzzle piece working here and everywhere. Or was it Trent that said, hey, look, we've researched these guys. These guys are going to be good in your system.
True.
We just don't know that dynamic. And we're guessing if we think we do. But the bottom line is Trent Baalke's resume is starting to look damn good in Jacksonville because they popped in the last 2 months of the season.
Real good. Real good. Fantastic.
And Hasty is just like the latest example of it. Hasty's a guy they find off waivers. I don't know. Is that Bernie Parmalee who said, let's go get this guy? Is it Doug who said, let's go get this guy? Is it the scouting staff? Is it Trent? Like, who made the move? I don't know. Is it Tony Khan through analytics? I don't know. But the bottom line is, it's another guy on their resume, at least for now, that I thought was pretty valuable to them.
And it's a guy who, when you claimed him, was at best your third back, but you just drafted Snoop Connor, so your fourth back. But he wasn't James and he wasn't Travis. You knew that.
Well, and they even brought Darrell Henderson. We forgot. That was the move that didn't work.
Henderson.
That was like
this
one of the few things that didn't work.
Forgot about him.
But they even made the right decision to say, see you later. Go to Cracker Barrel.
Darrell Henderson was – here's the thing about the Darrell Henderson move, which you can appreciate. Yeah, go to Cracker Barrel.
This year in Jacksonville was punctuated by Cracker Barrel and Waffle House.
Yes. That's awesome.
That is awesome.
The Darrell Henderson move was the right move at the time, though.
It felt like it.
Yeah, they needed help at the position. Not majorly, but it made sense. He had a resume from the Rams that was good. Made perfect sense. Didn't want to play. Wanted to chill at the Cracker Barrel. All good. And they made the move to get rid of him when they did. Like, although it was weird.
Yeah, the whole thing's weird.
Can't even knock him for it because they made the right call all the way around.
So
to get rid of him.
So let's go running back room for a few minutes quick. Is it set?
So that's what I'm wondering. And I think the answer is no. Because when you look at this list of running back free agents, it's good. It is good. And Josh Jacobs, Barkley, Miles Sanders, Tony Pollard, you were never getting those guys. But Like, it's deep this year. Damian Harris is a guy that fills a need that you have. A guy that I'm extremely interested in is Donta Foreman from Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
He is a massive human.
Former Texas back.
Turns out he ran for 900 yards.
Texas or Baylor?
Texas.
Yeah.
900 yards last year. Did you know? But he fills a need that you don't have. So I think they could add that guy like Jamal Williams, who was also a free agent. Don't think they're adding Jamal Williams because someone's probably going to pay a lot. But like a Donta Foreman, Damian Harris, somebody like that, it feels like it makes too much sense. They should bring that guy in. But those are also two guys that have played a lot of football that I think would help you.
You know, this is a fascinating conversation, Kasey, because I'll do a show on TV over the weekend. We have this conversation, and names like Darren Sproles get brought up. Like guys like that, that's who they had in Philly. Can you bring in a guy like that? And I'm like, I don't really think you need that. Like, I don't think you need that kind of back. You got Etienne and Hasty who do those things.
Yeah.
Like, why do you need that back? I think you need the more power back. Does the power back fit in Doug's system? He got rid of James Robinson. Okay, but that's a little different because he also won a Super Bowl with LeGarrette Blount.
Right.
And they managed that okay. Remember Corey Clement? LeGarrette Blount?
Yes.
Those guys. Like, I think Damian Harris, I think the Foremans, I think that kind of style is okay if you can deliver without needing 18 carries. The thing about James, and again, love James Robinson, no knock on him, but you need 15 to 20 to get him cooking. Like, you've got to have that. You're not getting that.
Mm-mm.
Can you get me a guy that needs 8 to 10 and can be productive with the 8 to 10? Can those guys do it? Then bring them in. I think that's still a valuable part of their backfield. I think they could use that. And remember, what were the Jags not so great at this year?
The yard.
3rd down and 1, 4th down and 1.
Yeah.
Not their best.
Mm-hmm.
Much like Kansas City. Weird out of this offense that they can't get that yard. But maybe you want to bring a bigger power back in to be able to get that yard.
I think they should. And another, they can't afford, or I don't think they'll be able to afford this guy, but how fun would it be if they had Kareem Hunt with Travis Etienne? Now we're playing Madden. I get it.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of running back free agents. Like, is this a guy that falls through the cracks? I don't know. You're looking for the other mouse. I think it'd be fun. He can get you the yard. You're probably not going to get it, but be exciting.
You know, a lot of Jags fans think. Steven was just bringing it up, by the way, on Twitter. Quadri Allison is a guy they've picked up just a couple weeks ago from the Falcons.
Right.
Honestly, don't know a whole heck of a lot about him.
Yeah,
is he going to fill that void? Maybe he does. But one thing about your scenario, if you get a big name guy, do you feel like you need to get them involved? Like, do you need to get Kareem Hunt involved if you go get a guy like that, or Ezekiel Elliott or somebody like that? Does it almost feel like, okay, we got to get him carries, we got to force it? The other part, see what fans would say, but I don't think the Jags agree with this. And I think he's proven that you don't need to. I don't think the fans are right on this. A lot of people think that Travis Etienne shouldn't be getting it as much as he gets it because he can't handle it. Well, tell me what part of Travis Etienne didn't showcase that he could handle it last year. He got tough yards. When he had 28 touches, he was fine. He came back the next week. The only thing he struggled with was fumbles.
Right.
But he could get tough yards. So now he's different than those backs still. But he can still get tough yards. Like, I'm okay with him getting the ball 22 times. Like, I don't think I need to preserve Travis Etienne. He showed me nothing last year that said we got to preserve this guy or he's going to get beat up by the end of the year. He just played the longest year of his life and was still cooking by the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, he had the one game that there was a scare, but, I mean, it ended up being okay. But, I mean, there were some interesting moments with Travis Etienne. Whether it be injury or, cramping, whatever, who knows, game fit, scheme, who cares, whatever. There were some interesting moments, so I think he's the guy. I think he should be the guy. I think he should get the majority of the touches. But I also think I would sacrifice seven carries if you're getting 22. 7's a lot. Maybe 6,
a lot.
5, 6 carries.
You guys averaging 5.1 a pop now.
For Kareem Hunt. I think I would.
Well, that's what they're going to answer. Do they find? I think that I don't disagree with you that I think they could use that back. I don't know if they need a big name to fulfill that role, a costly name or whatever it is. I just feel like they need that style. Maybe it's Allison here that fills it up. But, I mean, he's 6'1", 230-pound guy.
My man Foreman is 6 foot 235. This dude looks like a tank in his uniform, though. I don't know if you watched his highlights I did recently. This man just runs people over.
So I like the idea of them having that back as long as they don't feel like they need to be committed. And that was the problem with James. They felt like if he's here, we need to give it to him. And we're probably not going to give it to him. And that's why it was a good move to trade him.
And love James, but
it was the right move.
I mean, the Jets saw something too. In the negative, I'm saying.
Yeah, they didn't see enough because Jags get a 6th-round pick instead of a 5th.
Dang it.
With the usage of that.
Love
which I
those
would have
6th,
lost that bet. He had like 200 and something yards. That's it.
He barely played. He played like in the first 2 games, and they were like, okay, we're good. Never mind.
Yeah, what happens to James Robinson is going to be like, where's his career? Is this it? Like, was it done?
I mean, here's what's unlucky for James. Like, I just told you, the running back free agents are stacked. And even a guy like a Latavius Murray, I'm signing Latavius Murray before I'm signing James.
Latavius Murray's an interesting one because he looks like LeGarrette Blount.
Older, yeah, but he's old.
I know. I'm just saying, like that.
I love
guy.
Latavius Murray. He's the man. Saw him at the Orlando airport one time when he had the big injury on his leg. He was rolling around on a little scooter, but like doing nothing. So he's like racing around. It was a great moment. It was really cool.
Just don't forget Doug Peterson, who many people say does not like to run the football, doesn't want the big back, won the Super Bowl with LeGarrette Blount as part of the equation. To me, that sticks out in my mind. So if he can find that guy that will help him, I think it's more than a fit in this offense to be able to bring in. And again, maybe this pickup in February is the guy. Maybe they find someone late. This could easily be like a Labor Day after camp kind of signing to add to it. But I still think that could add to their room. And one more thing about it. It's the only room, I've said this in the past, that does not have a veteran player to kind of lead the way, show the ropes, learn how to be those kind of things.
Kareem Hunt? Maybe not. Maybe not.
Maybe. Maybe he's better than what the baggage would say.
Yeah.
He didn't have any problems in Cleveland.
No. Maybe not. Maybe.
We'll be back. Football at 5 coming up. The NFL Combine. Who will be the central figure of the Combine? And what are the Jags doing there? Not to say they shouldn't show up.
Sure.
But what are they doing? We'll talk about it when we come back on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
I like getting more. You too? Well, then you're going to love this. Cars, trucks, SUVs, but there's more. Imports, domestics, luxury, but there's still more. Like over 400 pre-owned on the lot. So come find it all and a whole lot more when you shop my friends at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Plus, with Arlington's 30-day exchange program, you get 30 days to love your purchase or exchange it. When you want more, get more and pay less at Arlington Toyota Pre-Owned. Shop in person and online at arlingtontoyota.com.
Here's Ben and John Lupo, owners of Beards Diamonds.
It's funny, my dad has sold people engagement rings, and now I'm selling their kids engagement rings and anniversary gifts and birthday gifts now for their children and grandkids. So it's pretty cool to see that family tree grow.
We're blessed with the relationships we've built over the years. Our non-commissioned sales associates are experts. They have only one goal: your complete satisfaction.
We have a 6,000 square foot showroom with anything and everything that you can want. Beards Diamonds has been family owned and locally operated since 1981.
40 years later, it's still our goal to offer the largest selection of quality diamond jewelry at the best prices in Jacksonville, guaranteed. The reason we can make that promise? As Beards owners, we are on the floor helping you with your purchase. We have no corporate bosses setting the price. The chain stores can't touch our prices. They just can't.
Check out our full inventory at beardsdiamonds.com. Come in and see us. We'd love to help you. Anybody that steps foot in our stores is automatically a part of the Beards family.
Beards Diamonds in the St. John's Town Center.
The sounds. The speed.
337.75 miles an hour.
Where legends race and new legacies are made.
Tony Stewart Racing has entered the history books.
Catch the NHRA season opener March 9th through 12th at Gainesville Raceway. Don't miss this action-packed opening weekend where every ticket is a pit pass. Kids 12 and under are free. Emily Motor Oil, NHRA Gator Nationals March 9th through 12th at Gainesville Raceway. Get your tickets early and save at NHRA.com.
Guys, fellas, men, are you Roman ready for the weekend? Right now, generic Viagra, aka Sildenafil, is just $4 per dose at Roman. Just complete a free online visit with a U.S. licensed healthcare professional. If medication is appropriate, Roman sends what you need in discreet packaging with free 2-day shipping. Generic Viagra from $4 at Roman. Go to ro.co/Viagra. Do it today and get 20% off your entire first order. That's ro.co/Viagra.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We'll get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we'll take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. You can learn more about our battery selection at AutoZone.com. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Claim based on data from the NPD Group 2021.
Still overpaying for a razor? In this economy? Gross. At Dollar Shave Club, you can get a top shelf shave at a regular shelf price. We've been hawking shaving products for years online, and we're excited to bring you the same great quality and low prices at a store near you. From high-quality stainless steel blades to super smooth shave creams, Dollar Shave Club's in the business of making your shave easier. Find Dollar Shave Club in the men's razor aisle. Getting your Dollar Shave Club razor wherever you want. Isn't that great?
The experts at Wake Off's Cooling and Heating can help you save big, replacing your aging heating and cooling system with a new one backed by an incredible up to 10-year worry-free warranty, and have it installed as soon as the next day. Put $0 down and have 0 payments until 2024. Don't wait. Get a new heating and cooling system from Wake Offs and save. Book fast at wakeoffeasybook.com or call 904-204-3214.
Start the new year off with worry-free water. Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family, like they've done for my family for over 5 years. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment. Your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
Hey folks, Dave Benyon here with Zero Res. I'm here today with my son Ammon. Ammon is the air duct cleaning manager for Zero Res. So Ammon, many people ask, who should I hire to clean my air ducts?
Well, there's a few things to look for. First, does the company have an HVAC contractor's license? In the state of Florida, you must have this to legally clean air ducts. Second, is the technician properly trained? Zero Res technicians are trained and certified by the National Air Duct Cleaning Association. Third, what kind of system are they using? Zero Res uses the most powerful truck-mounted system in the industry that generates over 15,000 cubic feet per minute of air movement. Most companies use a portable unit at around 5,000 CFMs. That's a third the power of Zero Res. Cleaning air ducts is all about power.
So, are you running any deals?
This month, I'm giving $50 off the air duct cleaning, and if you mention WOKV, I'll give you another $50 off your dry vent cleaning.
Wow, so I can get up to $100 off?
That's right.
Remember, folks, Zero Res,
spelled forward or backwards, it's the right way to clean.
Zero Res.
You're cheating hard.
Hank Williams' 100-year celebration starring Obie Award winner Jason Petty. This Thursday night, 7 p.m. at the Florida Theater.
Hey, hey, good looking.
Jason Petty gives the audience a personal look at Hank Williams' life and career. Also backed by a 4-piece band, this show is chock full of Hank's hits, from Your Cheatin' Heart and I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry to Hey Good Lookin' and Lovesick Blues.
I got the love sick.
Hank Williams' 100-year celebration starring Jason Petty this Thursday night. Get tickets at floridatheater.com.
It's time for Supercross at Daytona International Speedway on March 4th, and ESPN 690 has your chance at a pair of tickets to the races. Visit the contest page on ESPN690.com and play our Supercross trivia for your chance to win. Tickets also available for purchase on DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Christine Lisi. Like with the Colts, quarterback Carson Wentz's Commanders' tenure lasted just one season. Washington, in a move that had been long anticipated, released Wentz, who had a rough 2022 season in D.C. The Commanders saved $26 million on the salary cap with the move. Might there be a blockbuster trade before this year's NFL draft? The Bears are leaning toward trading the number 1 overall pick, reports ESPN's Adam Schefter. Chicago's been approached by multiple organizations about that pick. Last month, GM Ryan Poles reaffirmed his commitment to quarterback Justin Fields. In reality, trading Fields was never in the cards for Chicago, believes our Keyshawn Johnson.
Chicago needs people around him. They need to build just like the Eagles did for Jalen Hurts. He's a little bit bigger than Jalen Hurts, but same sort of skill set, same sort of locker room leadership. There was no way in the world that they was getting ready to move on from Justin Fields.
He of Keyshawn, JaMycal, and Max. Freshman standout Keontae George out for 7th-ranked Baylor against Oklahoma State tonight because of a right ankle sprain. Coverage at 9 Eastern on ESPN TV.
Need to spring back into hiring season? You need Indeed, the smart hiring platform that delivers 4 times more hires than all other sites combined, according to Talent Nest. Post a job and hire ASAP. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
WOKV Jacksonville. Listen live everywhere you go on ESPN690.com. ESPN 690, a Cox Media Group station.
Broadcasting live from the Anajar and Levine studios. Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733.
ESPN 690 and Action Sports Shacks presents Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau.
We're going to have to show a little more patience than the year 2 pom-pom people.
Casey Kurtz.
Yo! Well, what are we doing, bro? Come on!
And Aaron Schachter.
I'm all in favor of these two showing their love, really celebrating their relationship.
Get him! Get him! Hit him! Hit him! Yeah! Pull that from! Yeah! Pull that from!
This is Brent and Friends with Brent Martineau, Casey Kurtz, and Aaron Schachter on Jacksonville's home for ESPN Radio. ESPN 690.
Hey, Football at 5 is what we call it here on a Monday on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Once again, a reminder that 1 week and 2 hours from right now will be the debut of No Gate Fees.
Well done.
High school baseball and softball show, which will have also committed to the uncommitted, which we just gave away a $2,500 scholarship last week at Nimnik Buick GMC. So we're going to run that program back in a different sport or different sports. We'll talk local high school baseball and softball. And so you're in that world and you're interested in some of the teams. You got kids that play, you're coaching, whatever. We're going to do that and debut that show and also give some love to the softball side of things. And also we will have a topic. And No Gate Fees is the title of the show for a reason. And, yeah, that might be a topic.
Don't do that week 1. I don't want to miss that.
You don't want to do that 1 week? I was debating
whether... Well, I'm not going to be here.
I was debating whether should we come out of the gates with that.
Slow build.
Or do something different and then explain that part later on.
Yes.
So
slow build.
So maybe you just help make my decision.
Yeah, breadcrumbs.
I've got a bunch of different topics. So and how that show's going to work is we'll have one central topic throughout the show that we'll weave in and out of, talking some high school baseball and softball. We're going to do some power rankings there, also committed to the uncommitted, like I mentioned. So we'll be joined by coaches, one each, softball and baseball each week, a different coach. So we'll have some fun with it. Try that show. And we appreciate Nimnik Buick GMC for jumping on board with that once again and continuing this committed to the uncommitted, which was really a cool moment for all of us and everybody involved with that program last week during the broadcast. And we just hope we can keep growing it and got some good response from it. So we think we can continue to do that. That starts 1 week from today, 7 o'clock on ESPN 690. And as always, you can find it back on social media. And we think this will be more of a show that you probably watch and listen to and go back and find on social media. But we're going to do it at 7 o'clock live on Mondays on ESPN 690, immediately following Overtime with Kurtz in Middleton. We just keep expanding, man. Last year we tried the Dream 18 show.
Yes.
That was fun. Mm-hmm. Not bringing it back.
It was a good run.
It didn't necessarily fail. It's just that let's try something different.
It was exclusive to 2020.
It was. It was. I actually think we could have grown that too, but it's like, now let's try this instead.
Yeah.
And now we'll try this, and if this I get bored of it or tired of it, try something else next
Soccer
year.
show.
Cornhole.
Or cornhole.
Pickleball.
Maybe soccer.
Maybe not soccer. Pickleball.
Cornhole.
We have this discussion.
Bowling.
So bowling. Flag football
might actually be
is
the
a
answer.
fun thing, right?
Yeah. We have an expert. We have Marcel.
Easy.
Didn't say he was good. Just said he's an expert.
Thinks he is.
He's a grown man still playing, so he's got to be some sort of expert.
So we're partnered up with Jaguars Prep again. We're doing a lot with flag football on the TV side on CBS 47 and Fox 30. And so they had a media day last week and a ton of participation. Just a ton. And we started to think and talk about this. Flag football might be a sport on the girls' side that if you look up in 5 to 10 years might be bigger than them all. And right now, listen, softball's a big sport on the women's side. Volleyball's a big sport. Soccer's big. I mean, all of it. I mean, look at the gymnastics crowd they get in the
Sold
SEC.
out all
right?
the time. Couldn't even slide a
There's
ticket.
plenty of women's sports that does really well. But I'm wondering, because of the culture of football in our society and in America, if flag football is about to just go.
I could see it.
You know?
100%.
And they're quick games, very athletic. It's good stuff. It's fun to watch. Scholarships will become available, and that's a big part of it.
It's cool.
Already available with NAIA and JUCO, and I think it will continue to be available. So I think it will grow into D1 and D2. You know, much like lacrosse. Lacrosse became a big sport. It is a big sport. It hasn't hit the masses the way I thought it would. I thought lacrosse had a chance to be more commercialized, if you will, than it has become. And maybe there's still a way to get there, but it doesn't feel like it's headed there as much as I thought it would.
I'll tell you what, though. Every kid that's ever been to a sports store has picked up the lacrosse stick. It's just facts. Because, how does this work?
How does this work? And it's fast-paced. I think looks fun. One of the problems lacrosse has is kind of if you're just watching it, you're like, what's going on? Right?
I don't understand fully how they ever score. Like, it feels like it would be impossible for them to score. The net is small, the goalie is not, but they score.
The one thing that you don't know about lacrosse that's most interesting if you've never been, because this is unique to, I think, any other sport, is they will shoot it on goal. It'll completely miss. It'll go out of bounds. And sometimes it will still be their ball.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Because their guy's closest to it.
That's how that works?
I'm pretty sure.
Huh.
But that doesn't work in any sport. Like, if you throw the basketball out of bounds, it's not your ball anymore.
That would be dope, though, if it was. You could have the ball
your
all
guy's
game.
closest to
yes. Just stand on the line, and it'll be fine. We'll chuck it when we're in trouble.
All right, we're going to get football at 5 with the Combine coming up. But one more thing about rules.
Okay.
What's your quick take on the pitch? Like, do you see conspiracy theory, Brent, tweeted over the weekend?
Didn't see conspiracy theory, Brent. What'd you got?
I think they flat out planted the end of that game and had the guy in the Red Sox game.
Oh, yeah.
I think they planted it. Like, they need some of that stuff to happen in spring training so we can see how it works. So the game ended on a pitch clock violation.
Here, I have it. Just for the context, if for some reason you missed it, bases loaded. Can't make this up, folks. Bases loaded. Spring training. Bases loaded. 3-2. 2 outs. Chance to win the game. And then...
Could have run them up easily. Uh-oh.
And now what?
He's out.
They have called strike 3. Wow! This is mayhem! Oh! Automatic strike 3 called with the bases loaded in a tie game in the bottom of the 9th. This is baseball in 2023.
Oh, the 2-strike strikeout. That's it?
Oh, by the way,
first off,
it's
great
not,
call.
It was a great call, but it's also not mayhem because it's spring training.
I disagree because it's the first time it's ever happened.
It was a good call.
He had this thing ready.
Yeah, he did. He did. To my point, he had it ready.
Oh, okay.
So listen, this is
Hold
okay.
on.
This isn't like this is awful for the sport. I think they need this stuff to happen in spring training so we as a consumer, a viewer, a fan, those guys as players can get used to it. Like, we have to know what the consequences are. How's this working? If the first time a pitch clock violation results in a win in a bases-loaded situation on 3-2, and it comes in April 22nd in a real game between the Red Sox-Yankees, you might have people throwing stuff on the field.
Big time.
So I think they did this intentionally, and they probably should, to say, okay, this is what it looks like. These are spring training games. It doesn't matter. And, I mean, the guy was smiling. You think the guy's smiling in the regular season?
That's fair. No.
So, the hitter, whoever it was. All right, overall, do you like it?
Sorry.
Do you like the pitch clock?
Had to get the conspiracy theory music in. Yeah.
You do?
Yeah. Like, I saw the little chart that somebody made that was, like, average spring training game time over the first weekend. And, like, they had all of them, and it was, like, 2 hours and 18 minutes, 2 hours and 19. I was like,
Is that part because it's spring training?
Nah, that's all pitch clock. Spring training takes forever.
You think that was pitch clock stuff?
As somebody who has sat through more 9-inning spring training games just to try to get one autograph at the end of the game than anybody else, they take forever. You're changing people. You're pinch hitting. We got pitch counts. We're pulling pitchers. Yeah, let's roll. 3 batters, pitch clock. I'm with it.
I thought of this weekend because I saw those same stats. And this is more like a feel thing. Like, again, you're talking about Brent, who's a traditional baseball fan. I don't care if the game goes 3 hours and 15 minutes. That's fine.
You should.
I really don't. I could care less. Like, if I'm watching a baseball game, I don't care if it's 3 hours or 2 hours. I don't. Just don't. I mean, unless I got somewhere to go, but then I wouldn't have signed up to go watch the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, I never think like, oh, man, that was much more fun to watch because it was fast and moving. But that's Brent. They're not talking. These rules are not in for Brent. These rules are in for the younger person trying to get hooked on baseball, the society we live in now where we have short attention spans. These things are way too long. Like, I get it. I've also suggested, and I don't think I'm wrong, instead of changing like every rule that ever existed in baseball to accommodate time, why don't we just change it to a 7-inning game and change one rule and make them go by faster?
I like that as well.
So, and this is traditionalist Brent saying, let's move from 9 to 7 innings, and I think we'd be better doing that.
The 4th inning stretch.
I also now think, though, watching some of this stuff this weekend, seeing the times from it, I think, as I continue to talk about Brent in the third person, I will say it again, Brent might be wrong. Like, I might like this more than I think.
You will. You'll come around.
I think it might be a good decision for the game more than I think. Because that is a lot of time that's being wasted.
So much. Did you see the thing that's going around today? How many inside the park home runs does Javier Baez have before Pedro Baez threw a pitch? Did you see this?
I didn't, no.
So they were timing Pedro Baez in the playoffs when they played the Cubs, and then they side by side it with some inside the park home runs with Javier Baez. He hits like 3 before he throws a pitch.
That's pretty wild.
It's just...
Again, my mom was asking me about this stuff, and I'm like, I haven't really, again, baseball season's like coming soon. I haven't watched spring training games, so I'm not watching for it, but I get what's going on, all the different changes, and I know why it's going on, and I've seen it. And I actually think the major league, because she actually said, hey, are they going to do this in like where Ty and Kaylee play and stuff, or Little Leagues? And I was like, well, I doubt it, because they're not going to put a clock
Install clocks,
right?
Yeah.
But what's going to happen if you think about it in that realm,
it'll work,
is the kids are now going to work faster, move faster, because they're not seeing all these guys stepping out of the box fixing batting gloves and fixing their cup and all this other stuff. And so kids will follow suit in that. So it might take a little bit, and we're going to take a little bit to get used to it. But I actually think the more I now actually sit back and think about it, I think it might end up being good.
Here's why it won't take that long is because they do it in the minors. So all of your guys, they're used to it.
Yeah.
So in 2 years, you're going to have half of your pitchers used to it. You're going to have to get through the guys like Patrick Corbin. And this is no shot at Patrick Corbin. He's got like 5-6 years left. He's never dealt with the pitch clock. Like, that's going to happen. But, like, guys like Scherzer, this is perfect for Scherzer. He works fast. Verlander's going to have to work through this a little bit. Thank God Josh Beckett retired. He would never get a pitch off. He took forever. So you're going to have to work through some of those, but you will get in a year, 2 years, you're going to have guys that are just conditioned to do it.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, it'll be common.
You know, in many respects, it's what they've tried to do with, I think, is the dumbest rule in sports right now that exists, is the targeting rule in college football. But it's what they've tried to do with it. It's what they said, let's get this out of the game. We're going to penalize it, right? We're going to do, like, I understand the concept behind it. I think the penalty for it is ridiculous. I really do. And I think you're always going to get it in that fast-moving game. I don't think you're going to get it maliciously. I think we've seen less and less malicious targets, but you still call it and kick people out of games. Like, that's dumb. If you think it's malicious, kick them out. If you usually can tell the difference, right? And then you can really tell when it's not malicious. And they still kick. Like, I just think it's asinine that they do it. But what they're doing is trying to your word, condition people to not tackle that way for the safety of the game. And they're just going to extremes and sucking it up while they do it. And is it working? I don't even know. I haven't seen numbers. My guess is it's working. It's now been 3 years of it. But I complain about it every Saturday. I know that.
True.
I think this one will be less complaining because I do think it's better to watch. And, I mean, I watched it on Saturday in a high school game. The kid, he was working so fast that they had to call time.
That's how it should be.
Like, it was so fast. I know this. Kaylee pitches a lot. She works fast. She was like, let's go. They have to stop it. They have to stop the game and hold it up.
And that's the worst. I used to work fast.
And so
you're rolling.
I wonder, will this eliminate? Does this eliminate quick pitching and stuff that we've now seen enter the game?
Yeah, kind of, because everything's quick.
Everything's kind of quick, right?
Yeah. I think what'll be interesting is like Johnny Cueto. Well, no, because once you start, the clock stops.
Yeah, so
you
he's
can still do your little.
Yeah, he can do his dance.
I wonder if we see more of that.
Maybe that's the way to trick it up.
Or, like, Ohtani, I guess he does have the extended leg kick, but the players that come over from Japan, they usually have something extended in their windup. Like, I wonder how this would affect somebody like Dice K, because once you start it, remember, he went up and then, like, wiggled.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I wonder if we do see guys do that to try to throw off timing because the clock stops then.
So I guess I'm here to admit that I'm not a big fan of changing the game so completely.
Shocker.
But I actually think this is going to work. Well, here's the problem with the one thing with clocks in baseball. It's not a clocked game. It's just not a timed game. So you are completely changing the game.
Yeah.
By adding a stopwatch to it.
For the better.
Maybe for the better. But this is a more significant change than people want to even admit. This is a game that has no clock. The clock does not strike zero. Yet now it does.
Yeah.
Which is really a big change. But it might be for the better, and I'll admit that I think this actually might work.
This is going to be a very rare Rob Manfred W.
Yes.
Maybe more to come. And it's not going to be at first, because that's going to happen like 2 or 3 more times. Maybe not with the bases loaded 3-2 and all that.
Yeah, it'll happen.
That's going to happen.
Oh, yeah, it'll happen.
Frequently.
Yeah.
Once we get past it, it's going to be a huge L at first. He's going to take blowback. It's fine. He already is. But then it's going to be a major W when players are making their 9:30 dinner reservation that they usually couldn't make until 10:30.
I will say this. I am way more on board with this than robo-umps any day of the week. And here's what else we're going to get. You know what else? We're going to get more ejections because we're going to get not smiley player at a spring training game. We're going to get pissed off player that then goes nuts on the ump.
And
so we're going to see that.
Great.
That's great. It's good. That's
we
why
need more
robo-umps
of them.
suck. That's why replay kind of sucks sometimes. You want ejections.
Yeah.
You need the drama.
You do.
All right, let's go back to football. Sorry. We could talk baseball a long time, but that was as long as we're going to go for now. Combine this week. Have we ever answered the central figure of the Combine as it starts tomorrow? Like, who is the guy we're talking about going in, the guy they're going to talk about for 5, 6, 7 days, which this thing lasts way too long, and the guy that we're going to talk about next week leaving it?
I got some that probably not what you're thinking of, but I'll start with quarterback, and Anthony Richardson's obviously the main one. I think Will Levis is going to have a very Zach Wilson-esque pro day when Zach Wilson was making all the throws with the huge arm. Will Levis can throw the ball the length of the field. So I think we're going to get some of that's going to pop from just the quarterback position. But the two people that I think have gotten lost, one of them not so much, one definitely, that we're going to get some love for is Darnell Washington from Georgia, who I love, which, by the way.
Big tight end, by the way.
Massive human. I just lost it. Here it is. So according to one of the coaches that he's been working with in the offseason, he's running 4.6 40 right now.
Wow.
He's 6'7", 270. If he runs a 4.6 at the combine and is 6'7", 270, holy cow. The other guy, which I can't figure out why he's not getting love, is A.T. Perry from Wake Forest. You familiar with A.T.? He, in the last 2 seasons, 1,200 yards and 15 touchdowns, and then 1,000 yards, almost 1,111 touchdowns for Wake. He's 6'5", he's 205. They've said he's put on some weight. When Wake played in the bowl game here 2 years ago against Rutgers, like I knew of A.T. Perry, he was doing things I couldn't believe. Like he's quick, he's big, he's strong. He was actually like a tight end at first, and they moved him outside to wide receiver. And I can't figure out where this guy is. I know there's a lot of good wide receivers in the draft, actually like a ton. I can't figure out why he's not one of the top names mentioned because I think he's athletically a freak. So I think we're going to see big things from him.
That's interesting. I hadn't heard that name much. I really just asked the question. Obviously, the quarterbacks are going to win the day, right? I mean, we have quarterbacks to talk about. We have Young, Stroud, Levis, and Richardson to name, the 4 guys that people are talking about. Levis is, to your point, a kind of a very Anthony Richardson-esque prospect. He's got some really good tools. Can he play the position at a high level in the NFL? And who's going to take a chance on it? Stroud and Young are slam dunk top 5 picks, right?
Yeah.
And nothing's moving them.
Nah, not even Bryce Young being short.
Bryce Young, 5'11 and a half is not a surprise. Everybody knows.
Like, I guess if he's actually 5'9".
And even then, I'm not sure it matters.
It doesn't.
I think he's a very interesting prospect. But I think Anthony Richardson really is going to be like, this is already built to be the story. Richardson, there are people like me that honestly, if my job was on the line as a GM, which your job's always on the line if you're picking a quarterback, I just wouldn't take him. I'd roll the dice and say I missed more than I got the guy and I'm smarter than everybody else. And I mean, unless it's like the second round or so, I'm talking like first round guy, top 10 guy, top 15 guy, top 20 guy. You start getting back toward the end of the first round, I could see it. I remember Lamar Jackson went all the way to number 32 before Baltimore went up and got him.
He's not getting out of the top 5. It just won't happen.
Top 5.
Somebody's going to come get him.
I don't think so. I still don't think so.
You're having 4 quarterbacks and Jalen Carter in the top 5. I don't know who. I don't know what order. But
no, Anderson's not going in the top 5?
Nah, I think they'll pick Jalen Carter first. It depends on where the Bears go. It depends on how far down they go.
There's a lot of rumor about the Bears now, or some reports out that
I
looking
think
to trade.
All you need for that to happen is Will Levis to do – well, first of all, Anthony Richardson's going to be incredible at the Combine. Like, there's no doubt if he's bad, I'd be shocked. This is exactly what he is going to be good at.
This is where he should shine.
Will Levis is going to chuck some footballs. You're going to be like, holy crap, the arm strength. If C.J. Stroud does well, then you're getting 4 quarterbacks and 5 picks.
I just don't think Anthony Richardson's going in the top 5. And I'll be wrong on that. I mean, I hesitate to say he'll be in the top 10, but I know how the quarterback situation even works, and so somebody's going to probably do it.
Definitely.
I also would say this about Levis and Richardson. Like, I get it for the fan that we're going to see stuff, but I don't get anybody being wowed by it at the Combine who's done any kind of homework the last year and a half or 2 years on these guys. None of that should come as a surprise. We all know going in the story on Anthony Richardson. Why do we need to see it? He's got a cannon of an arm. He's going to run some crazy 4.4. He's a physical specimen. Okay, what are we going to know by Wednesday or Thursday or next week that I haven't just told you right here on a Monday? Like, that is going to happen. That is part of the equation with him. The things that we don't know is what goes on in the interview room.
Which is
what goes on in the medical room.
What'll be the difference maker.
And how do they feel about him? They're not going to tell us that part. But if you really start seeing guys shove up the board, it's less about the physical stuff that they already know. It probably means he did pretty well in those areas.
Yeah. No, it'll come down to the interviews and the questions that he's asked and how he responds to it because, again, you know what you're going to see on the field. And anything other than what you think you see is a huge red flag. I will say that. If something goes wrong and the 40 times not what you thought and the bench press is significantly less than you thought, that's intriguing. I don't think that'll be the case. But I wonder if it doesn't go as well as everybody thinks, how far does this guy plummet down the board? Because then I could co-sign with you. If he's extremely inaccurate in drills and the 40 time is, I mean, you're blown away by it not being quick, I think it could go boom or boom. It's either way high or way low.
But would you be surprised if he's inaccurate in the drills?
I wouldn't. I think others would. I wouldn't.
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't either. And not to say, I mean, on air, is a little different. He'll probably make those throws and be fine. But, I mean, the tape is where it shows that he is inaccurate on those throws. Like, he just is. But there's some great stuff on Anthony Richardson, too. I know I sound like the most negative. I'm not. I don't understand, like, what you know versus what you don't know is what's fascinating to me here. And the combine in these days in Indianapolis shouldn't shove him one way or up or down a board because the tape says much of what you need to know. Interviews are a little different. I do hold that out, and I think that's different, what you're finding out about him, how you ask questions, how he answers questions, especially if you're asking good ones that pertain to football, not stupid ones at the combine. Then I think, that could move me a little bit. Like, you might fall in love with a guy. People fall in love with players. I can sense that. Like, I get why that does happen. But at the end of the day, the tape is really what should tell the story. And it tells a story of an inconsistent quarterback, one that has had confident issues, like outspoken confident issues at times, and one that is a freaky athlete. Like, those are truisms. And if my job is to find the quarterback of a franchise and I'm the GM, there's a lot of red flags in all that I just said, quite frankly. Josh Allen continues to be one of the great comps, a guy that was just over a 50% passer in college. And Richardson is probably more freaky of an athlete and also played against higher competition.
100%.
So maybe that's a sign that you should take him. But I would have to know other qualities other than arm strength and some stats. What does he do on a board? How does he answer? How does he see the field? Like, what's his IQ of the game? Like, all those things. And, again, we're not going to be privy to that. But if I'm going to comp him to Josh Allen, I want to know that stuff, too.
And you need someone who is not him to play football on September 9th or whatever opening day is.
Well, that is true.
Because it cannot be him.
And one thing about Josh Allen that, again, I think this is a big part of it. Play that quarterback position, you tell me you kind of lost confidence 3 weeks into the season. I don't think Josh Allen ever said that.
Fair.
He seems like the swaggiest of swagger guys. And even at 53%, it's like, yeah, I'm still better than you.
No, that's fair.
You
That's
know what I mean?
different type of swag. 53%. You're like, hey, half the time, bro, I'm lighting you up. If I could just figure out how to get it to 2/3, boy, you in trouble.
He's going to be fascinating. I do think Richardson is going to be the conversation point because guess what? There's not a lot of conversation about Bryce Young. Everybody thinks he's the top 5 pick. He should be a top 5 pick. Now let's see if he gets the job done and he's a dangerous quarterback. This combine is less about the Jaguars and more about the rest of the AFC South. If you're a Jags fan,
it's good for us.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Good place to be, Jags
with
fans.
Houston and Indianapolis more so. But even Tennessee, do they sneak in the fold here somewhere over these next couple months? For the first time in a long time, the draft process is really not about the Jags. It's about who's trying to come and catch them. That's a fun place to be. We'll be back on ESPN 690.
Now, the First Alert forecast on ESPN 690.
Fair to partly cloudy skies tonight with some fog late as temperatures drop into the 60s. Another warm day for your Tuesday under partly sunny skies. An isolated brief shower possible, but mostly dry as we reach the mid-80s. From the CBS 47 and Fox 30 Action News Jack's First Alert Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Burrish.
The Weather Center is brought to you by Beard's Diamonds. Proud to offer a huge selection of both lab-grown and natural diamonds at the lowest prices guaranteed.
We're dealing at Best Bet St. Augustine, the only card room and sports bar in St. Augustine, Florida. With nonstop action, poker games of all limits, exciting tournaments and table games, and a sports bar showing all the action, Best Bet St. Augustine has you covered. Don't miss our delicious dining options, serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and our always popular freshly made sushi. Best Bet St. Augustine is located at 800 Marketplace Drive off exit 311, where I-95 and State Road 207 meet. Learn more at bestbetjacks.com.
Anybody can win at Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino, Tampa. One jackpot is paid out every minute on the hottest slot machines and table games. With over $2 billion in jackpots paid out in the last year, you could be the next lucky winner. Seminole Hard Rock Tampa has over 800 rooms and suites, a luxurious rock spa and salon, award-winning restaurants, and an exciting comedy and concert lineup, including pool parties with world-renowned artists. With a variety of gaming, dining, and entertainment options, anybody can win at Seminole Hard Rock Tampa.
Start the new year off with worry-free water. Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family, like they've done for my family for over 5 years. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment. Your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211. It's transition time to the spring season on the campus of the University of North Florida. Busy time to swoop. Baseball, softball, tennis, beach volleyball, track and field. Something for everyone at UNF. Find the schedules, results, the stories of the student athletes, and buy tickets at UNFospreys.com. Plus, be an Osprey supporter and help get scholarships fully funded at UNF. Giving Day is coming up on March 22nd. And check out the strategic plan of the future for UNF athletics. You can find all that at UNFospreys.com.
Prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if a prescription is appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for full details and important safety information. Subscription required.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 90% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. At Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the biggest brands at 90% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but 90% cheaper. It's the same medication you get from your doctor, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Today on Hey Culligan, smooth skin and soft hair comes from where? Here's Mike.
Hey Culligan, I've tried every conditioner, lotion, and body wash known to man, and my skin still feels like sandpaper.
It could be your water, Mike.
Oh, that's harsh.
More like hard water. Are you interested in smart, high-efficiency water softeners from Culligan Water?
Huh?
Want baby smooth skin and soft, luxurious hair?
Yeah, can you hurry? I have a date tonight.
We're already on the way, Mike. Let us help you out with the free in-home water test from a local Culligan water expert at Culligan.com.
O'Reilly. Protect your engine against sludge and wear with a synthetic oil change. O'Reilly Auto Parts has 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $35.95. Plus, get 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people can recommend the supplies you need, including a filter, funnel, shop towels, drain pans, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Shop the Beaches Green Market this and every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Penman Park on Penman Road for fresh local fruits and vegetables, plants, meats, eggs, baked goods, honey, wellness products, and so much more. EBT cards welcome. DigLocal.org for more info. Hank Williams' 100-year celebration starring Obie Award winner Jason Petty this Thursday night, 7 p.m. at the Florida Theater.
Hey, good looking.
Jason Petty gives the audience a personal look at Hank Williams' life and career. Also backed by a 4-piece band, this show is chock full of Hank's hits, from Your Cheatin' Heart and I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry to Hey Good Lookin' and Love Sick Blues.
I got the love sick.
Hank Williams' 100-year celebration starring Jason Petty this Thursday night. Get tickets at floridatheater.com.
Listen to ESPN 690 anytime, anywhere, on any device. Whether you're at home or on the go, get the latest on the Jags, FSU, the Jumbo Shrimp, and Action Sports Jacks on Odyssey.com. That's AUDACY.com or on ESPN690.com.
Welcome back, everybody. Football at 5. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Brent Martineau, Kasey Kurtz, Aaron Schachter back with us tomorrow. And it's funny, some of the headlines you see. We're talking some of the crazy buzzer beaters and finishes and storylines and all the different sports going on these last couple of weeks. That's how we started the show. I think it's just a fun time. You can find whatever you want to find right now and pretty much have a good time with it as a viewer and a fan. And we mentioned women's basketball, Caitlin Clark, who's really taken the country by storm in women's hoops all season long. I just saw this title on ESPN. South Carolina stays number 1 as 15 ranked teams lose. For the longest time, one of the worst parts about women's basketball is there were like 3 good teams and nobody could catch them.
Yeah.
You know, now South Carolina's really good, I guess, and they've been number 1 for a long time. But seeing 15 ranked teams lose, like that's a good thing for women's basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they needed that. They needed more parity, and you could sense it's coming up more and more. You look at the NCAA tournament where teams are seeded, and you get more upsets than ever before over the last, I would say, 5 to 8 years. But you know, when Tennessee was dominating, and then when UConn was dominating, their domination was unbelievable. But at the same time, it did feel a little bit New England Patriots in the AFC East against the Dolphins, the Bills, and the Jets forever. It's like, where's the friction? And it's good to see that there's some friction.
Friction is always good.
Oh, I think friction's good in sports, otherwise known as parity. And I wouldn't say it's full-blown parity in women's basketball, but it's certainly like trending there.
Yes.
Which is I think, a good thing. One of the stories around the NFL, Carson Wentz.
Yeah, I see.
Is there a story like Carson Wentz? He by the way, to finish that sentence, he got released by the Commanders.
Good call.
I never did say that part, if you're just jumping in. So, Philly, MVP candidate, replaced by Foles after he gets hurt. Some of the decision-making there, belief in him, the draws a rift, I think, between the Eagles, brass, and even Doug. It might be some of the reason Doug, sooner or later, is let go. He goes to Indianapolis. That doesn't work out. Can't beat Jacksonville to get in the playoffs. That's a problem. Commanders, they're better with Heineke, and they win more games with Heineke than Wentz, even though Wentz did play well, seems like forever ago, against the Jags in the opener when he threw 4 touchdowns. And now what? Like, now he's a backup. Like, yeah. I'm trying to even think who he is. Like, who is he now? Is he Sam Darnold?
No, because Sam Darnold never had the highs.
Is he Teddy Bridgewater? Injury, looked good for a bit.
Tyrod Taylor?
Did Tyrod Taylor ever look good?
Played a lot.
Like, did he ever
Carson
look
Wentz
like the franchise guy?
No, but Carson Wentz has played a lot. He's played a lot.
Jameis?
Jameis is the answer. Yes.
Probably more like Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
Who showed some real flashes. Like Jameis never showed, I'm going to win the NFL MVP flash. But Carson Wentz was the MVP of the league. If he doesn't get hurt, he might have been the MVP of the league. And yet they might not have won the Super Bowl, which is kind of weird. Maybe they would have. And now I have no idea where he ends up or who he is. And he got plenty of shots. Totally different than you think of guys that got multiple opportunities to start in the NFL, and one that rings a bell is Chad Henne. So Henne got the chance in Miami, drafted by Miami, comes up to Jacksonville, and yeah, he's not the guy, but he can't even really hold off Blake, and then he tries to win the job back from Blake when the struggles happen. I believe that would have been 2018. Can't do that. So he had 2 opportunities and never got it. Just couldn't do it. Wasn't going to be the guy, and then ends up his career backup, retired this year, and ends up winning a couple of Super Bowls. Blaine Gabbert. Blaine Gabbert actually is an interesting one he was drafted to be the guy, but never proved that he could be the guy, and has hung around for a long time as just a straight backup in the NFL. Like, he's never really got another opportunity to start, and doesn't look like he's going to get that chance this year either.
Nah.
Like, I don't think
Wentz can't hold him off.
But like Wentz, what I'm trying to think of is there a Geno Smith story to Wentz?
No, I don't think so. Because, I mean, he's had so many chances. Like, if they put Carson Wentz on Minnesota, they're not going to. But, like, if he started for Minnesota, I'd be like Jefferson, Thielen, Hawkinson, Dalvin Cook. Yeah, maybe. But on Carolina, like, if that's a spot, because, like, a realistic spot to go would be Carolina, I guess. No. Seattle's interesting. If you're not going to pay the price for Geno, DK, Lockett, Noah Fant.
There's another thing about Wentz that I talk about a lot on the show in terms of quarterback play, and I don't know if people around the country in the NFL talk about it as much as they should. And I think they're afraid to go here fully, but I think it's the way it is. If you can't move, you can't play.
Yeah.
And Carson Wentz used to be able to move. And then he got hurt so much that he really doesn't move well. Like, he's okay. He's not Matt Ryan, can't move.
I knew you were going to say it.
No, I mean, that's the poster child for it.
It's true.
It's the problem with, will Mac Jones run into that problem? Jameis Winston, by the way, doesn't move well.
Not really.
Is that part of the reason? Like, Andy Dalton actually moves better than Jameis Winston, even though he's an older player, I think. I mean, Geno Smith
moves enough.
He moves enough, right? He was able to figure it out by moving enough.
Kirk Cousins moves enough.
Kirk can move. Again, he's not going to outrace you.
Matt Stafford's interesting. Like, Matt Stafford can move. It's not easy or comfortable.
Yeah, and
he can do it, though.
But he was awful this year when he played. And that offensive line was terrible, and it proved that if you don't have it really good, you're in trouble. And now, listen, most people are in trouble if their offensive line isn't good. But, I mean, name me a quarterback that is trending anywhere remote to good that doesn't move well. And I think you're going to have a young, old, Brady, before he retired, would be the guy. Like, he would be that guy that would held off this conversation to be like, that's it. Like, it's no longer a conversation and a debate. It's now a blanket conversation that if you can't move, you're probably nowhere near upper half to elite quarterback in the NFL. Can you play the position? Yeah, you can complete a pass. You can probably win some games. Like, I don't think they should ban you from playing if you don't run a 4.8 or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're going to ban you from an elite list, and they're going to ban you from being a top 10, top 12 quarterback most likely in the NFL.
Yes. You've seen it.
It's just happened. Like, we have seen it. I don't know if we're ready to admit it, but we have seen the transition happen. Even Rodgers, right? Old guy. He can move. Still can move.
Jared Goff, he moved a bit this year.
I think it's what got Drew Brees out of the league finally. Now he's 41 years old. But he could still throw, but he couldn't move. Phillip Rivers couldn't move.
Big Ben at the end.
Big Ben didn't move anymore. I mean, this is crystal clear. You don't have to be able to run as fast as Lamar Jackson, but you certainly can't be a sitting duck.
You have to be willing, yeah.
As Trayvon Walker was right about Matt Ryan, other than the game that he played against Matt Ryan.
Yeah, lit him up.
So, and that's where Carson Wentz, again, was a guy in Philly that actually had good legs. It was part of his game. But then he just kept getting blasted, and now he feels, I mean, doesn't he feel, how old is he? 29, maybe 30? He feels 38. I don't care what age he is. He feels 38 to me.
30.
30.
Just turned.
He's an old damn 30.
Yeah, he is.
Is my point. And he feels it. And he looks it. And you cannot succeed at a high level in the NFL anymore if you're that guy. You just can't. And unfortunately, like the guy that's going to be really interesting to watch in this is Mac, because Mac is not an agile guy. He moves okay in the pocket. There's a difference. Can he get away from something? And no, the answer is no, he can't. And so he has an up-road battle, I think, to be an elite quarterback, even as a young guy in the NFL, just because of his inability to move the way everybody else does now in the National Football League. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton on deck. We put a bow on this show when we come back on ESPN 690.
Brent and Friends is sponsored by Best Bet, now open in St. Augustine.
Right now, American Window Products is offering the newest features in window technology with Ultra Dual Low E glass and insulated vinyl frames with magnet weather stripping on windows for an airtight seal to help reduce your energy usage, all at an affordable price. This exclusive offer is for a limited time, so act now to save big with 12 months zero interest financing. Schedule a free estimate at AmericanWindowProducts.com. American Window Products, the window professionals. Financing at time of sale for new orders only.
Rich Jones here. Investing can be more about just filling a bank account. It's about having a secure retirement, protecting your family. Let DLP Capital help you to protect your why. Here's CEO and founder Don Wenner.
I started DLP Capital with an expectation that I could provide my family, my investors, my team members, and the families of my investors with awesome returns, limited volatility, and no losses, all while providing desperately needed affordable housing to the American workforce.
To get your investor's guide and learn more, dial **invest on your cell phone or visit highyieldreturns.net.
Hey pet lovers, Forever Vets has a new location just off 295 on Bay Meadows Road. Forever Vets' new central location will offer superior after-hours urgent care for your sick or injured pet. If your pet is suffering from urinary blockage, a laceration, poison, heat stroke, bite, or seizure, our loving veterinarians will be there to provide the immediate treatment your furry friend deserves. Visit our website for hours. And for the times you need a home away from home for your fur baby, Forever Vet's Central Location Pet Resort offers daycare and boarding. Our trained staff provides a happy, safe place for your pooch to play while you're away. Whether they relax in their air-conditioned VIP room or play outdoors in our huge heart-shaped pool, your four-legged baby will be treated like royalty until you return. If you're a new client, the first day of play is on us. Come tour our new facility and see everything Forever Vets has to offer, or visit our website at forevervets.com.
Start the new year off with worry-free water. Discover how good your water can be with a new Connecticut softener and drinking water system. Connecticut's twin tank, non-electric softeners are the most efficient softeners available, and their drinking water systems remove up to 99% of contaminants. If you're not filtering your water, you are the filter. Don't be the filter. The experts at CGC Water Treatment will test your water for free and provide solutions that are right for you and your family, like they've done for my family for over 5 years. Imagine having clean, clear, purified water at your home. No more plastic bottles, no more waste, just great tasting, purified water that you can trust. Call 904-552-1242 or visit cgcwater.com. That's 904-552-1242. Financing options available with approved credit. CGC Water Treatment are proud partners of the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm a proud customer of CGC Water Treatment. Your authorized independent Connecticut dealer. Florida license number CFC 1428211.
You've got advanced prostate cancer, but you're not waiting around. You want straight talk, the facts about Orgovix.
Orgovix Relugolix 120 milligram prescription tablets is a treatment for adults with advanced prostate cancer. Fact: Orgovix is a different kind of androgen deprivation therapy treatment, a pill, not an injection. Orgovix may cause serious side effects, including a heart condition called QT prolongation. Tell your doctor right away if you feel dizzy, faint, have a racing or pounding heart, or chest pain. Orgovix can cause harm to an unborn baby or miscarriage. Use birth control during treatment and for 2 weeks after Orgovix treatment. The most common side effects include hot flushes, increased blood sugar and blood fat levels, muscle and joint pain, decreased blood hemoglobin levels, increased liver enzymes, tiredness, constipation, and diarrhea. Other side effects include weight gain, decreased sex drive, and erectile function problems. Orgovix may cause infertility. Talk to your doctor if infertility is a concern for you.
Go with Orgovix. Ask your doctor. For more facts, visit gowiththefacts.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, smooth skin and soft hair comes from where? Here's Mike.
Hey Culligan, I've tried every conditioner, lotion, and body wash known to man, and my skin still feels like sandpaper.
It could be your water, Mike.
Oh,
That's harsh. More like hard water. Are you interested in smart, high-efficiency water softeners from Culligan Water?
Huh?
Want baby smooth skin and soft, luxurious hair?
Yeah, can you hurry? I have a date tonight.
We're already on the way, Mike. Let us help you out with the free in-home water test from a local Culligan Water expert at Culligan.com.
O'Reilly.
Protect your engine against sludge and wear with a synthetic oil change. O'Reilly Auto Parts has 5 quarts of Mobil 1 full synthetic motor oil for $35.95. Plus, get 2 times O Rewards points. Our professional parts people can recommend the supplies you need, including a filter, funnel, shop towels, drain pans, and more. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey, it's Brent Mortno from Action Sports Jacks. Did you know you can watch our radio show? Yeah, video of a radio show. Just search ESPN 690 Jacks on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Or follow me on Twitter at Brent AS Jacks. Watch the show live weekdays from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. or listen on ESPN 690. 4-minute offense here on Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
There you go.
As we run up to overtime with Kurtz and Middleton, although just Casey Kurtz today. And then we go to FSU Hoops.
North Carolina.
North Carolina trying. Now listen, North Carolina's kind of on the bubble, though. I think I saw they're 18-11. That feels like a weird bubble record, especially
They are.
given North Carolina. They were number 1 in the country at one time earlier this year. If they lose to FSU, that could really hamper their chances. Because I think people are trying to push them out because they're a weird team. But they got a big win over Virginia. I think it was this weekend. I think they did that.
But you lose to FSU. I mean, FSU is going for win number 10.
Yeah.
tonight.
No, that'd be bad. It'd be a bad loss. So you
Bad
can hear
loss.
that game on ESPN 690. So weird to have FSU be as bad as they are.
Yeah, they're bad.
And Florida's awful because,
Yeah, it's-
especially with Castleton out.
Yeah.
And they're going to finish under 500.
Castleton has been a Florida Gator forever. And he played at Michigan. Ain't that weird?
That is weird.
He has been there forever.
He's a good player. The Florida
Somehow
Gators.
he'll come back. I don't know how. He will be on the team next year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Florida Gators are going to be, think about that. They're going to be under 500, most likely. Overall record. Like, you play some easy cake, non-conference stuff, you know. And I think Mark Long told me this when I saw him at Daytona. He covers the Gators. And I think he said if they go under 500, it might be the first time under 500 in like over 30 years.
Great.
That's not a great way to start your first year in Gainesville.
Yeah, well, maybe hire a coach that's aware of the situation.
It's a weird vibe in Gainesville right now.
Baseball team's great.
Man, at least baseball's good.
Just
But they
hire
haven't
the
had to make a
defensive-
new change.
Just hire the youngest defensive coordinator in the Power 5.
I actually kind of like that. New blood.
Do you?
We'll see how it works. But
How about a coach that knows what he's
29-year-old guy from Southern Miss.
I'm with it, but like it's how I feel about the basketball. If you're going to coach at Southern Miss, if you're going to coach at San Francisco, it might not work.
Yeah, meanwhile, like Saban is getting like every ex-NFL or SEC coach that failed, and you're getting the 29-year-old guy coming from Southern Miss. It is kind of a little bit different.
Sure, it'll be
right?
fine. Yeah. Come on, somebody.
All right, you mentioned there's somebody else that got cut by the Commanders.
Yes. Bobby McCain. Slot corner, plays safety as well. Very similar to Gardner Johnson in the sense of he can play both. Gardner Johnson's better. But, I mean, this year, not a lot of great stats to speak of. But the year before, 4 interceptions, couple of forced fumbles. Did have 76 tackles this year, AV of 5. Do anything for
What kind of dollar figure did they say? Do you know? Did it say it in there?
It saved 4.2.
So he's not a crazy salary guy.
Yeah, no.
Listen, I think, I don't know if he's the guy, but I think to your point, the Jags are going to find somebody like that. They're going to find somebody like that to fill the void of slot corner or corner that they, and I don't think they're bringing Trey Herndon back. I mean, they could, but I don't think they are. So I think that's the way they're going to go. And then if they get something better in the draft, you get something better in the draft. But you don't want to just drive yourself into a corner in the draft. And they'll make sure they're okay there. I don't know who that's going to be. Maybe that's a good option. Maybe it's not. Maybe they spend more than we think. They're already pretty invested at the cornerback position, either draft pick or salary-wise. Overtime with Kurtz and Middleton coming up next. Florida State right after that. And we'll do it again tomorrow at 3 p.m. with Brent and Friends on ESPN 690. Have you covered on the TV side tonight, CBS 47 and Fox 30 as well. Have a good Monday, everybody. Thanks for listening. Brent and Friends on ESPN 690.
Let's do it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Duval!
Thanks, Doug Peterson. Have a good night, everybody.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along.